Welcome back, everyone, to Race Centre Live. It's good to see you again for what promises to be a very exciting British GP because it is raining right now as we speak. So we're going to get into that. Let us know how you're feeling in the chat about tyre choices because it's all up for grabs here. But I want to introduce, first of all, Caroline and a new face, Jack, as well. So, Caroline, how are you feeling about today in this race and the weather, the British weather?
It's already looking wet and windy out there. We just saw a clip of Charles Leclerc's car where it actually looked like it was already dirty just from going around to get information. I am equally excited and nervous about what we are going to see here on this opening lap. Before we started this broadcast, we were talking through maybe will they delay the start? What is it going to look like? And even taking a closer look at the starting grid to see who our troublemakers might be here on this first lap. But I am so excited to also have Jack here with us today. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Jack.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me. First, I just want to touch on the weather. Yesterday in the chat, everyone was saying they wanted it wet, windy, and wild. Looks like that's what we're going to get here today at Silverstone. And yeah, like you said, a little bit about me. I'm a sports broadcaster. I work in production. I'm helping out behind the scenes on this Race Center Live. Some people in the chat, they might have seen my post yesterday. Usually I cover football, but yeah, like I said, I love sports. We were talking a little bit even about Sail GP and some of these other crazy events going on, but excited for you two really to bring me up to speed, give me some better insight on F1 and what these drivers are going through, what all the fans at Silverstone are going through, and yeah, thanks for having me along for the ride.
We're going to convert you, Jack, away from football towards the promised land of Formula One.
Hey, the more and more I'm seeing of it, the more I want to come to this promised land, as you call it.
There we go. So go on, Caroline.
There's no better gateway than Silverstone. This is the one to get you started. So I feel like we've timed this out well.
Exactly. And if anyone in chat has got any cool things about Formula One that you can let Jack know about, then please do it. I want to shout out people in the chat who've been here already before the stream started in Race Centre Live. I can see Ops 08. I can see Anab as well. Can't wait. Frederick's here as well. Cliff's here. I can see in my chat as well. Demon Center, JSK, Ozfrog, Gnarly, Chaya, Kata UG. We got BCR8. I can see everyone. I can see everyone's really excited for this. Should we talk a little bit more about the weather? I don't know if anyone here has a feeling on who might do well in rainy conditions, because maybe someone is going to do something special when the weather equalizes things. I don't know if anyone's got a feeling in your bones.
I mean, Max always, I feel like, overcomes the odds. And with him starting in pole position, I would be shocked if he wasn't coming into this with a plan already in place. He's not going to have that spray in front of him that a lot of these other drivers are going to have with him starting in first. Another one not to underestimate in the wet is Carlos Sainz. He has consistently done well in the wet. Someone who has consistently not done well in the wet is our friend over at McLaren, Lando Norris. For those who remember Sochi, that was a heartbreaking time back when they would race in Russia. In case you don't know, he was leading the race, and due to a tire call when it started raining, he spun off and lost what would have been his first ever win. Now, Jack, as a somewhat newbie to the sport, what are you hoping to see here today with this weather and this rain?
Yeah, I'm hoping to see someone who will get this British crowd excited, whether that's Lewis Hamilton or one of the three other British drivers starting today. But yeah, I don't know if it's a little bit of a home advantage being used to this weather or possibly having driven Silverstone more than their competitors. But yeah, like you said, probably not Lando, but we'll see.
I want to shout out a couple of really good comments I've seen already. Jacob and Beck with F1 saying as well, Max is set up for a drive fast race, but we'll see. We saw yesterday that Max was fastest on the straights, which would indicate that he doesn't have a lot of downforce in his car. That might be very difficult to drive in low grip conditions. So it could be a real test for Max. And our producer Mike has thrown up some images. This is Max yesterday, who did one of the most sensational laps I think I've ever seen. It's just one of those laps. Incredible. And especially around the last corner at Silverstone. I don't know, Jack is again like a newer fan. If you've seen any footage of that, is it easy to translate what they're doing? or is it a bit alien because the cars are so fast?
That's what I was saying yesterday. Is I think I need to go to a race to be able to experience truly how fast these cars are, because you see the pictures, you see them on TV, and you lose the sense of truly how fast they're going, or what it is like going through all of those G's when you go through a corner, or you're going through Maggotsbecket and you have to slow down that much. Like, to me, as an observer through the screen, it's hard to get a real feel for what that takes.
That's a great point you make. If you are sat in the grandstand, although there's a cliche that, oh, you see the cars, no, you don't see them for another 2 minutes, you do actually really see the sort of micro corrections. And I've got my wheel again, my F1 wheel. So when the drivers get on the power with a little bit of lock, what Max did so well yesterday is when you get on the throttle and the wheels turned, the car wants to push around a little bit. And if it pushes around too much, you'll get oversteer. And that's when you see, Jack, the drivers they do like a correction like this.
Yeah, my only example of oversteering is when I had a stick shift Honda Civic driving in the snow.
Okay.
That's a great example, because you're like, oh no, on the ice or the snow. We were talking, Caroline, about Lewis Hamilton's last lap, it just didn't come together. And if you look at the onboard, he was kind of like this. What Max did so well was just balancing the throttle and the angle and maximizing the traction. What Franco Colapinto got wrong is that he got too much rear wheel spin. So I am fascinated to see who's going to be looking comfortable early on, because it's going to be a long race here. And sounds like you can never really write off Max Verstappen. And maybe, Caroline, is saying maybe Lando's got to exercise these demons from Sochi, I think almost like 5 years ago now.
It was. And he's come a long way since then. So I don't want to give him any bad juju, because this is his home race. There is the feel of a hometown advantage. I also want to give a shout out to Becky. She mentioned that Kimi won the Formula 2 championship in the rain. So we shouldn't underestimate Kimi either. Now, Kimi has quite a job ahead of him, lining up right behind Isaac Hadjar and Yuki Tsunoda. So he's going to have to be fighting those bulls up ahead of him, who are not going to want to let him by. There's some long-standing history between those 2 or 3 teams, and so it will be dicey to see. A lot of people, I think, are also very hopeful for Sir Lewis Hamilton to pull it out of his hat here in Silverstone. I think everybody would be excited to see it for him, but also you can never underestimate Max.
I think it would be one of Lewis Hamilton's greatest ever victories if he wins here. But I was saying the same thing last year.
Yeah.
It just got really dark where I am. I'm 1.5 hours away. And at Silverstone, there's blue skies now. So welcome to the British weather. I can see in the chat as well, Lyra saying, I reckon Max will win today. So, that Max support coming in, I think it's fair to say, Caroline, we didn't call Max on pole yesterday.
No, we were not even close.
So maybe another surprise today. And speaking of hopefully happy surprises, it's going to be another opportunity for anyone watching who's in Race Centre Live to enter the giveaway, where the ultimate prize is a trip to Las Vegas for the Grand Prix. You and a friend, travel and accommodation, all on motorsport. All the terms and conditions are in Race Centre Live. So there will be quiz questions coming up later. My car producer will be putting them on. They're not easy questions, I'm going to be honest. We're not allowed to help you anyway, but I'm not sure you would want our help. So any advice that we can give, Caroline and Jack, to people? Is it just enter, or any strategy to it?
Enter and take what we say with a grain of salt when it comes to the information that we might be sharing, because yesterday we didn't know this, but some of the questions that came up were actually things that we had covered already in the broadcast. So turn those listening ears on. We might unintentionally give you the answers, because I will be honest with you, we don't know which questions are going to be thrown up there. I can say they're very tricky. But if you just join us and join in over in the chat, we will do our very best to guide you guys along. But yeah, get those thumbs ready, get those pointer fingers ready to answer those questions. Yes,
I think those are good tips. Volume up and make sure you're in the Race Center Live experience so you can enter that quiz. And who knows if Kireth or Caroline already gave you one of the answers. So pay attention and take a shot. You never know what you're going to win.
stay listening. What we might do now, because there's 20 minutes to go till the start of the GP, and I really want to hear from everyone in chat actually who you think is going to win. So just put the driver you think is going to win, because it's a great opportunity for your favorite driver. Maybe Alonso, maybe maybe a Bearman could do it in the wet weather. But I can see at the moment on my screen the new Racing Bulls livery that has, Caroline, we described it yesterday as, quote, intestinal, which I feel like we need to put some images on screen here. So I think my co-producer will be able to put on the video that Emily Selick of Motorsport went to the launch of this new livery. And I think it's, I don't really get it, but I want to know if you get it at home. So maybe let's have a look at that and see this limited livery that's been done in conjunction with an artist for the Racing Bulls.
Hi guys, I'm here at Flannels in central London where VCARB have launched their Silverstone livery. Now it was designed by the artist Swan, who's recently collaborated with the likes of Louis Vuitton, Rolex, Ferrari. We're going to speak to him today and chat to the drivers as well. So come along with me as I get to learn a bit more about this livery. And how did the partnership with Hugo and VCARB come together?
It was very collaborative. I mean, 50-50 or 33-33, I think. It's 33.3%. But yeah, so it was shared equally. They gave me feedback, I gave them some feedback and whatnot. So yeah.
And tell me about the design. What was the inspiration? What was kind of the first thing you put to paper? Where did it come from?
You know what? I just gave them a little bit of my world, so they don't take too much of their world. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I gave them a little bit so that's not too outlandish, and then they did what they did with it.
And were there anything that was different about designing for a car versus, you know, a canvas or fashion?
Because for a car, you got to think about the curvature and all the other things there. So obviously, I want to mess with it, but F1 cars got to go fast. So I don't think I'm equipped to make the changes for it to go faster. So I just gave them some graphics that they can mess around with. So.
Do you think fashion and art's kind of playing a role in that?
Everything's kind of merging, honestly.
Yeah.
So everyone's got someone doing something that's doing something. So I feel like the world feels very divided right now, but I feel like things go really bad for it to become good. And I hope it becomes good. And I hope everyone gets freed and everyone ends up having a not hive mind situation, but more togetherness and unity. So that's all I'm hoping comes from these sort of things, like little by little by little.
Yeah, amazing. Well, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Okay, Jack, Caroline and I discussed yesterday. What do you think of the livery?
Yeah, I was taking a look through some classic liveries. The first one that kind of comes to mind is the Red Bull Camo. It was that kind of black and white striped one that, you know, you go for a crazy pattern. But I don't know if it's gonna, and forgive me, I'm not super familiar with the artist's work, but I don't know if it's gonna go down as an all-timer. I'm sure for some people it is amazing to see one of their favorite artists make something in that style. And like we were talking about yesterday, Kireth, if you get the t-shirt, maybe you'll see the intestinal pattern on it, and it'll make a little more of a vibe for you. But you know, not my favorite, but I think it looks fine when it's on the track. And you know, when I'm looking at, for a lot of times my content is like football shirts, like in isolation they look good, but then when they're on TV, when they're actually in use, it looks not optimal maybe. So these ones, I think they're not too distracting, and the car is going to look good on the track, and that's probably what matters, right?
Yeah, I think you're very clued up, Jack, aren't you, with like retro football shirts? Do you think people are going to wear that in 10 years' time and it'll be like,
yeah, you know, if it's always a case of like the designer, it's like maybe this guy blows up, maybe he already has blown up and I just don't know about it, but you know, maybe he becomes iconic and everyone's like, hey, I really want to get that VCARB shirt from 2025, and you just can't find it then. So I think you really never know.
Yes, and I do think it's worth noting that his typical work is in color, and so it doesn't look as intestinal when you see it in color. It looks more like a bunch of faces. However, in this collaboration with Visa Cash App Racing Bulls, it came across to me on the t-shirts as looking like they've really got guts. They've really got
Oh,
intestines in there. So
Or maybe it'll
I
be a
felt like,
gutty performance. And like
yes.
the cars already have so much color, right? That doing it with black and white, it doesn't maybe take away from some of the sponsors that are in those specific colors that they need to be. Or I'm not sure all the considerations. Just putting on my brand hat and thinking about it, and what the sponsors are going to need.
Yes,
something
and
different for sure.
yes, and with him having worked with Louis Vuitton in the past and with now the LVMH massive partnership with F1, I see why it felt like a natural crossover and a natural partnership there for VCarb to work with him. But it looks like we've just finished the national anthem here at Silverstone. And guys, I'm seeing blue skies and white clouds. What is happening?
And the red arrows are going over, which is our version of Blue Angels you guys have in the US. Blue Angels in the US. So the jets are going over red, white, and blue. Pretty cool. Beck with F1 says love the livery. So we got a fan there.
Got some love.
And I can see Bonky in my chat saying strat teams are going to be earning their money today. I guess anyone in chat, if you have any ideas on strategy, what tires would you be starting on when it's been raining, but as Caroline says, now it's blue skies in England. It's super dark skies where I am, and I think that rain is going over to Silverstone.
Yes, for those who are with us, if you were with us yesterday, we were joking that Kireth is our weatherman on the front, that he's getting things about an hour before they get to Silverstone. So Kireth, what are we expecting in an hour?
Rain and lots of it. So yeah, I would always have some wet weather tires handy. Remember, actually, also saying the livery's lovely. So people really liking the livery, and I can see Frederick's. I thought I had to scroll down. I thought it was going to be an actual graphic of a weather forecast, but it's just a Family Guy meme saying it's going to rain.
I love it. I love it.
The same thing. But yeah, I don't know what the teams are going to do here. It's going to be very, very, very difficult. And some teams are going to get unlucky, and some teams are going to make a bold call. I would say I think we are going to start the race on time. I don't think it's wet enough that they're going to be safety concerns about not starting.
Yes, and while we were watching the livery review there, I did a quick little search because I was curious with Max starting on pole. I'm seeing a lot of love for Max in the chat, and I thought to myself, what's Max's pole to a victory conversion ratio? It is 80%, ladies and gentlemen. He has an 80% pole to victory ratio, which is the highest in F1 history. But we're looking at some very interesting conditions here that might change at the drop of a hat, which, as we all know, keeps things very exciting around here. But that might influence some of us to lean towards the Max train here on this win. Does that affect either of your predictions for the victor today?
Yeah, after learning that, I'm all in on that,
Matt. There we go. See, producer Mike has pulled up the stat. Caroline, my chat, Tifosi said, is Caroline's daughter watching the race or sleeping? Max wanted to know.
Yeah, that's the key metric right there.
That's the real statistic that matters. I appreciate the people
for asking. You have to explain the lore, Caroline.
Yes, so here's the lore. My daughter was born a year and a half ago. And so she was born in the midst of some Max domination as it was shifting over to McLaren. She has never seen Max Verstappen win. Max Verstappen did win races last year, and every race that he won was while she was sleeping. And every race that he lost and someone else won was while she was awake watching with us. So here's what I will say. She was awake when I came in here for this broadcast, but I have no promises because she does go down. Actually, why don't I check her monitor? I have her monitor right here.
Yeah, that nap might arrive just with the rain.
Ladies and gentlemen, she is asleep. However, she might wake up, and when she wakes up, my husband will go get her to bring her down to watch. So I will keep us updated towards the end of the race to see if she's watching or not. But thank you guys for asking.
Yeah, let us know in the chats whether you want Caroline's daughter to be asleep or awake.
Yes.
So we can see. Beck, just catching him on the chat in Race Centre Live. Beck with F1 saying medium switch to wet as needed. Arguably, if you're going to switch, yes, then do you want to go long or short? We can talk about that. And we're back actually saying, did you watch the F1 movie? Brad Pitt reminded me of James Hunt. Rush was another great Formula One movie about James Hunt and Niki Lauda. But Caroline, you have seen the movie. we talked about it yesterday, but
Yeah.
thoughts on the movie? Recommendation or?
And it's funny you bring up Rush, because I think someone said in the chat yesterday that they felt that the F1 movie was better than Rush, which I think some people would believe is a hot take. I don't take that so much as a hot take. They feel very different to me because they're in such different times of Formula One. I enjoyed the movie. I would say, if I have any advice to people going into the movie, come into it with no expectations. Understand that Hollywood is going to do what Hollywood does and change things. A lot of the moments from the movie are inspired by real events. Some of the crashes will look familiar to those of you that have been following Formula One in the last 10 and even 20 years. There are some things that I disagree with. Some of the portrayal of women within it might not have been the best for women in the sport. However, I do think that the women that are currently in Formula One, working in Formula One, the voices and the faces of Formula One, have done an incredible job standing up against that and showing that they have every right to be there in the capacities that they are. But if you love the adrenaline rush, the feel of being in the cars, and someone was saying yesterday to go see it in 4D because you get the smells. I didn't see it in 4D, but I saw it in IMAX and I loved it. So I can't imagine seeing it in 4D. Jack, have you seen it?
No, I haven't. I'm waiting to go see it in 4D.
Yes. I mean, I've heard to go see it in 4D. I told Kireth this yesterday. My friends that have seen it in 4D said, just don't get popcorn. Whatever you do,
Yeah,
don't
you won't
get
be able to
popcorn
eat it.
because you won't eat it. It'll just go everywhere.
Don't sit next to someone with popcorn as well.
Oh, correct.
But I am now definitely, after your recommendation, Caroline, I'm now definitely seeing it in 4D. I can see Michael saying IMAX for the win. F1 Stats Guru, welcome along. Drop an F1 stat in there. I know there was a great article by Emily Selick on Motorsport about the F1 movie and some of the themes, which has been really interesting. We might actually be able to go to Emily Selick, who asked the Racing Bulls drivers some interesting questions on their favorite things, which I think is actually one of the best interviews I've seen in Formula One recently. So maybe Mike can pull that up. And anyone just joining us now, there's 8 minutes to go. Get your friends in here as well. Send the link to them. It's going to be a great place for the race. But maybe we can go to that interview with the Racing Bulls drivers.
Right, boys, best of British. So what's your favourite British music artist?
The Beatles.
The Beatles? Yeah, the Beatles, I agree.
One favourite British meal?
I don't think you have any.
Yeah, I think it's bad. It's just...
If you had to pick.
This must be one.
Fish and chips. For me, it's fish and chips. I thought it was a New Zealand thing, growing up in New Zealand. Then I came here and discovered that it wasn't.
It's average. It's just fried fish.
It's good. Good fish and chips is good.
Yeah.
Your favourite British Formula One driver?
Lewis.
Your favourite British biscuit?
A biscuit, but the cereals, the Lucky Charms, are they British
That's
or
probably American, I think. Yeah. Your favourite British actor?
Tom Holland.
Yeah, solid. Spider-Man. Yeah.
Well done.
Maybe the next James Bond.
Jason Statham.
And finally, your favourite British football club?
I don't watch
Soccer.
football.
I don't like them.
Yeah.
None of them. PSG. Yeah. What 3 tracks do you think should never leave the F1 calendar?
Silverstone.
Japan. Spa.
For me, like Melbourne. Like I love Melbourne. Even had a horrible race, but just it was so track.
I love qualifying in Monaco, so I'd keep Monaco just for Saturday.
What about Monaco?
So what have we got? We've got Suzuka, we've got Monaco,
Silverstone.
and Silverstone. So
I think that's one of the all-time F1 interviews. Big shout out to that DJI Mick doing a lot of heavy lifting there.
Absolutely.
By the way, Karen, a lot of people in my chat are now singing lullabies, so they're really invested in this. But just on that, I mean, what do you guys think about the dynamic at the Racing Bulls? It seems to me Liam Lawson is just so much happier there. There's a great stats coming Race Centre Live from F1 Stats Guru saying Isaac Hadjar remains the only rookie to have avoided a Q1 elimination 2025 so far. It feels kind of vibey to me. I feel like a nice place to be.
Oh, yes. They definitely seem very comfortable. And I also noticed this time around them showing their age. I think that Liam Lawson was surprised to hear that the Beatles were British. Did I misinterpret that
He was
because
surprised that fish and chips are British too.
He's
yes.
like New Zealand, get out.
And that just puts in perspective how young these guys really are, that they are just in a whole different type of pop culture now. But I think it's really sweet to see two drivers that are within the same generation that just seem to feed off of each other really well and have a nice mutual respect for each other, even if they don't know that Lucky Charms aren't British. I think that's wonderful.
Yeah, I think that I don't know, maybe it is the relatively low age gap for them is that they have good chemistry. At least that's what it seems like to me. And I'm wondering to you two if you think that's important, if you would maybe have a veteran with a rookie or, having two youngsters.
I think it's so important. Having done some racing myself, like having that good vibe with your teammate and the team, rather than having a toxic vibe.
Mhm.
It's just, for me, it's just so much nicer that you can collaborate, and it really feels like that. And maybe there's less pressure. Maybe they don't really want a promotion, so it's kind of like, do you know what I mean?
You're in a good spot, right? Like, there's not very many places to go up from Racing Bulls, even if we're being realistic about your driver position. And like, I think people do overlook the fact that it is a team sport at the end of the day. The winning driver is going to get the glory, but you're doing it for the team.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think if you were going to have two drivers that were younger, the best place to have them is at Racing Bulls because they work so closely with Red Bull Racing that you can have the veteran there, that veteran presence in Red Bull Racing, because there's such a close connection between those two teams. Whereas we see in some other teams, it's been incredibly beneficial. I actually have to give a shout out to Carlos Sainz. Every time he's been the veteran on a team, he has been a really, really good teammate to his younger teammate. And I think it's so easy to get jaded and so easy to get frustrated with the younger talent. But he took Lando under his wing. He got along really well with Charles. And now I think he and Alex have a really nice working relationship together. There are pros and cons to both, but I understand why Racing Bulls is treating that team like something more of a younger team.
Yeah, I'm just a bit disappointed for British Arsenal. They didn't say Tiny Temper, who we know is at Silverstone today, and I've heard Spider-Man is there, Tom Holland as well. So if anyone's aware of any other celebrities, I'm sure there's going to be loads. I think Gordon Ramsay was there yesterday.
Yeah, we saw Jeremy
Let us-
Clarkson on the grid too.
Jeremy Clarkson on the grid, and I bet he knows the weather because his farm is actually pretty close. And I've heard someone said in my chat that the teams actually have people posted at villages. I want to imagine in my head they're just at the pub, like 5 miles downwind or upwind.
Just
It's just in the back garden of the pub.
Yeah, exactly. Let me just check in on the chat because a couple of things. With 2 minutes to go, I've got a notice in my chat saying formation lap behind safety car. If that's true, I'm going to be a bit disappointed by it, but we will see. Let us know in the chat your top 3 predictions now. And interesting comment from Beck with F1 saying that team dynamic is something that also comes in the F1 movie, which I'm really excited to hear because that's something a bit unique actually in Formula One compared to other sports. But I don't know what we think about potentially starting behind.
Yeah, why is that disappointing?
Because I'll just say from my perspective, it's a out of caution. They don't want the teams to start with a standing start because drivers might spin off. However, starting behind a safety car is going to not be as good a spectacle. Imagine in a football match, it's like, okay, it's a bit wet. For the first 5 minutes, no one can score. We're just going to pass the ball around and get warmed up.
Yeah, okay.
That's kind of like a terrible analogy, but the best I could do.
No, that's close. Yeah, that's good.
But it's just a rolling start to have some grip. You're not just peeling out from.
Yeah, and that is unconfirmed, so we'll have to see. Fernando Alonso is saying we're expecting rain around lap 15 to 17. Very interesting for tyre strategy. Because if your mediums will only go to lap 14, let's say, but your hards would go to lap 20, maybe your driver's starting on the hards and he might get caught out because it might not rain or whatnot.
How many times are we going to pit at Silverstone?
I haven't seen the strategy here, but I would say by a minimum of 2 here. And with the rain, it may be quite a bit more than that. We can see the tyre warmers coming off, and it'd be very interesting to see what tyres people are on.
Oh, I see inters on Oscar. Interesting.
Anyone not going to be... So the inters will have a green ring on them, and you'll see some tread, and it'll look more like your tyres on your car at home.
Now, who do we think in this starting grid, who do we think are going to be the troublemakers here, whether we start under a safety car or have a standing start?
Calapinto.
Yeah, in 20th.
Let me know, everyone, if you agree. Beck with F1 saying McLaren on Inters. I would be surprised if anyone's not on Inters, even though the sun is beaming down, but heavy rain on the way, which is interesting because maybe some... this is absolutely fascinating. And Jack, let me know if you've got any questions here as the drivers are going to start on the formation lap. Because if you know if you believe it's going to rain imminently because your guy at the pub says it's raining in my back garden, do you do a few laps on the Inters to save a pit stop? Or actually, do you just start on the dry tyre for this? This is just...
Because you need the Inters in the rain.
You need the Inters in the rain, yes. Yes. And it's amazing how much time you can lose being on a dry tyre when it's raining. It's astonishing. And we've seen this before at Silverstone.
But everyone's on the intermediates now, so it's like, if you're trying to make up that gap, how do you do it if everyone's using the same equipment?
This is what I would look out for, Jack. Is anyone going to box at the end of this lap and put on dry tyres? That will be fascinating.
Because the question here is, how quickly can they form a dry line with this sunny, blue skies, white clouds? Can they form a dry line soon enough to put on slicks before the rain comes back so that they can then make up that time?
We got Yogi the Legal Eagle asking how many laps did the wet/Inters last?
Depends on the temperature of the track because they will essentially overheat quite quickly. Inters can go quite long. It's very unusual we actually see the full wet tyre, Jack, for complicated reasons. But the blue one we basically never see. So the green one, it can go, but it can overheat. And it is an unusual sight to see the formation lap here behind a safety car. This is not normally what happens. So I hope we are going to get a standing start. I'm just having a bit of a flashback to Hungary a few years ago, where we had this iconic image of only Lewis Hamilton on the grid because everyone else pitted. So we will find out here whether people are going to jump into the pits.
And Freddie's
What's your
saying
prediction?
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
If it's going to happen or not.
Yes.
I think if it's legal, I think some cars will go into the pits, yeah. I think they will admit they've made a mistake by being on this tyre. Because, yeah.
Freddie's saying if you could have one driver from the past on the grid, who would it be and why?
James Hunt for me. That's James Hunt at Silverstone this day and age.
For this race, I would love to see Kimi Räikkönen right here. I think that he would be here to cause a little bit of chaos.
Well,
Bottas could cause some trouble too, right?
Yes, he could.
Yeah, could go bowling. Welcome everyone in chat. You're just joining us at exactly the right time because we're under formation lap. We're about to see where the cars are going to jump into the pits. Keep coming in with your predictions. Who you think is going to win? 500,000 people will have attended by the end of this weekend, which I think is potentially a record crowd or right up there.
That's what the graphic there says on
some cars jumping in. One car at least jumping in, but oh my God, it's a Ferrari. Who is it? Hamilton or Leclerc? Someone's jumped in. It's Leclerc, and he's putting on medium tyres, and George Russell is in as well. So what happens here? Because do they have to go around again because of the rest of the cars on the grid? What's happening?
Or did they start? Did they start from the pit lane?
Are they going to start from the back now?
What a risk!
Everyone in chat, I need your help here because we're off.
Did you forfeit your position?
Oscar Piastri is saying that the last sector is too wet for slicks yet. So we might see some chaos at the end of lap 1.
Yeah, and slicks means dry tyres, so he's basically saying it's just too wet. I don't know what's happening here. They're going to start from the pit lane. So we're about to go, everyone. The British GP is almost underway because there's 4 red lights, 5 red lights. When the lights go out, we'll go. And we are going now with gaps on the grid. This is insane. Some people have got this right. Some will have got it wrong. Caroline, what do you see with Verstappen?
Oh, Oscar had a great start, but Verstappen made up for it in that first turn, closing the door. We see Lando coming in very quickly on the back of Oscar, and it looks like he just overtook Oscar Piastri, and now he is hunting down Max Verstappen. But Oscar is not going to let it go quietly. He has Lewis Hamilton breathing down his back. Right behind Lewis Hamilton, I believe we have the Alpine of Pierre Gasly, followed by, is that Fernando? Oh, I think I just
Yellow
saw
flag
someone go off the track.
Someone off behind.
Chat saying it's
It
Lawson.
looked like a Visa Cash App Racing Bull.
Yeah, the unmistakable intestinal livery there I saw. Great start for Verstappen, I'd say. Great. He looks like he has more grip than the McLaren. It's a very different line.
It looks like the McLaren slowed each other down.
Yeah. This is fantastic.
And there's a lot of spray, as you were saying.
Yeah, and as Caroline pointed out, Piastri was saying the last sector is too wet for dry tyres. Piastri was saying, keep an eye on your leaderboard at home, everyone, in Race Centre Live, for the drivers that came in and pitted who were on.
It was a Haas. It was a Haas that went
okay.
off. It was Esteban Ocon that went off and has now caused a yellow flag. Oh no, it was a Visa. It was a V-carb. But Ocon
yeah, that's
mentioned
what
that he was
Beck was
damaged.
saying in chat. It's Lawson.
That'd be a retirement for Lawson. That'd be a retirement. And Hamilton makes a great move up the inside of Lando Norris at Stowe. There is so much spray there. Great driving by both of them side by side. And I think Lando's going to keep the position, but you can see this is absolutely supreme skill. But they are on the Inters, remember. How on earth the dry tyres drivers are going to go through that, I do not know, because that is wet.
You saw the snapping there in that final corner and just how wet it is in that third sector. And that final corner was giving a lot of drivers trouble yesterday when it wasn't this wet. So imagine how crazy it's going to get now. We now have a virtual safety car coming out now. Kireth, do you mind describing for those of us who are new to the sport, what does a VSC mean instead of a full safety car?
So a virtual safety car essentially slows the car down to a set speed. So the cars can no longer go as fast. They have to go at a set slow speed, which means that the gap should be maintained between the cars, but it neutralizes the race and allows cars to be recovered.
So it's like the governor in the golf cart when I'm trying to floor it and I can't.
Yeah, yes. Yes. Liam Lawson has come to a stop by the side of the straight. They might be able to roll that car under VSC because the pack is already a little bit bunched up. However, the drivers that swapped onto the hard tires, they might be separated. No, they aren't. I'm looking here. I can see Russell, then it's Leclerc, and then it must be Hadjar, and then a state car. So this is great for the dry tire runners because the race had been neutralized while the track is drying, which is fantastic. I just want to shout out a donation in my chat saying, saw the F1 film at the BFI IMAX first day and went to the F1 arcade like you recommended. Had a great day. More IMAX basically for the F1 movie seems to be the recommendation.
And I think there's something we're not seeing because Colapinto is also out of the race. But I think, so that would have been Esteban Ocon on the back of Liam Lawson.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Mac 26 in Race Centre Live saying, how is Colapinto out? We'll try and keep an eye on it in that other Alpine. I wouldn't rule out that he just spun on his own because he did it yesterday. So I wouldn't rule that out. Welcome Anab as well in Race Centre Live. Lawson, who the hell was that? I'm out. Who the hell was that? Whoever this Haas was next to me, dude, he just drove straight inside of me. Well, it was Esteban Ocon, so maybe not on the Christmas card list now.
Yes, I hope they don't get each other
early
for
exit to the chippy.
Oof.
Yeah.
Double dose of Beatles for you, Liam.
Now, Kimi Antonelli has gone into the pits now under the virtual safety car. We'll see what he's switching on to.
So
Slicks.
Because he's pit under the virtual safety car, he will essentially not lose as much time. So potentially a smart move. Mercedes are all in then on this dry tire strategy. Maybe they think the rain is coming later. So that's quite interesting.
It maybe is never going to come, right? It's the chance of the paradigm of the bird in the hand or two in the bush, right? You could take what you have now, and if the rain doesn't show up, it's amazing.
It could be, but I am seeing some dark clouds off in the distance. I don't know if those are what were just with us or what's coming for us.
I mean, it's England. The rain is coming, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're never too far away.
And Anthony just drove off the circuit at Village coming out of the pits. So it is, those tyres are cold. I can see that they're pushing Liam Lawson's car off the circuit, so we won't need a full safety car here. Beck with F1 saying track's drying pretty quick, though. Yeah, strap in for this race. I think it's going to be an exciting one. And already, we just don't know what's happened with Colapinto.
Yes.
So if anyone knows, let us know.
I mean, it could be that they weren't able to fully recover from yesterday and he had damage to the car. We'll see, but we're going to get a good glimpse of the race start here. So maybe we can try to keep track of what happened to him.
He was starting from the pit, right?
He was running from P20.
Oh,
He was in the pit. I can see he was in the pit
Yeah, yeah.
box. So there was an issue with his car, and he went into the pit box. I just saw from the helicopter view actually while they were following the leaders. And yeah, great start from Verstappen. Hamilton almost made contact with the back of that might have been Lando Norris. Max saying, Yuki, why did you send them 3 wide? Yeah, let us know if you've got any thoughts now about who's looking strong. Is anyone going to go for George Russell or Charles Leclerc to win this race? Here's one for you, Jack, in terms of a football manager at a circuit.
Yeah. George Russell does have a tendency to sneak his way onto the podium and sometimes even onto that top step. It has confounded me for many, many races. Ooh, that was not a small hit in the back of Liam Lawson.
Yeah, I can see why Lawson wasn't happy about it. And the audacious move by Hamilton trying to go up the inside of Lando at Stowe just couldn't quite get it done. And then had another bite at the cherry. But around this time, the virtual safety car came out, which I imagine will be leaving very, very soon, ending soon. And I'm saying fish and chips are good. Pamaro agrees with you, Caroline, saying George is a king of the sneaky podium. Welcome everyone in Race Centre Live. Look at those dark clouds.
Bronco wins. It's good to see you. Thank you for saying hi. Someone did say when Liam Lawson went out that he can go back to the garage and listen to the Beatles and eat some fish and chips, which is not a bad gig, but I'm sure he would much rather be out on this track right now with everyone else.
Green flag, but Bortoletto's in the barrier. Green flag, but Bortoletto's in the barrier backwards. That'll be probably a safety car now because they won't be able to wheel that, push that car out. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a safety car. And if he's going to try and get it going.
Oh,
he's going to try and get it going. He says, I'm okay. It's a very unusual place because it looks like on turn 1, maybe he just turned in and lost the rear end. We're green flag again. We're green flag.
He must have recovered enough to get back onto the track, but he is at a massive disadvantage all the way in the back now.
I think he'll have to retire if there's rear suspension damage there, but he has temporarily unretired himself, which I commend him for. It did not look comfortable on those medium tyres. Cut across the pit exit as well. And then hits. I wouldn't be. Yeah, that rear ring. You can't really replace a rear wing in Formula One. So I think.
Hey Lenny P, good to see you in the chat. Yeah, that's some serious damage.
And his team saying it's okay, no worries. It was very tricky out there. That's really, oh my days, man.
All right. I was going to say, Kireth, do you mind explaining a little bit of the flag that they will wave when they would like a driver to come in due to damage?
It's called the meatball flag because there's a black flag with an orange circle on it. But he'll come in anyway. What just happened is the part of his rear wing end plate. I don't think I have a Formula 1 car here to show you, but maybe if Mike can pull one up, I can show you the right rear end plate just went off Bortoletto's car a long way into the air and could have caught the wind. Yeah, it went a long way. So you see where the OKX logo is there? That detached, and that was very dangerous, actually, because that would have gone over a fence. So I wasn't a big fan of seeing that happen, and that's why they will... In fact, it looks like he's pulled over. Yeah, just on the exit of Cops, retire the car. I'm pretty sure they need to safety car this now. And I wouldn't be surprised to. Someone's put some meatball emojis in.
We've got a lot of drama so far, only 5 laps in.
I do have to say, Bortoletto he has a lot of fans that believe in him so passionately. And I love to see how much everybody loves and supports Bortoletto. We're already seeing it over in our chat. Bortoletto's a fighter. Bortoletto is moving. Go Bort. I've never heard him called Bort before, but I think I love it.
Bort's got to abort this time.
Motorsport.com coming in with the official line. There we go. He's managed to get it going again. But unfortunately, since then, he has stopped managing to get going again. And we're under VSC again. It's under virtual safety car.
Bort has had to abort, if you will.
Oh, I like it.
Thank you so much.
So under VSC, they might be able to pull that back in behind Cops. I wouldn't be surprised if we see some more pit stops now. But I did see in Race Centre Live, who had the info for us here, Beck with F1 saying rain expected in 10 laps. And a swap at Mercedes. Mercedes swapping and putting Russell ahead of Kimi. How did That's very interesting to think about because Kimi started on the intermediates and came out ahead of George Russell still. So they've had to push George Russell ahead of him. So it shows that maybe George Russell pitted too early. It would have been quicker for him to do it when Kimi did it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's some
I also
live
think they might
Doppler
have
we're
more.
seeing now.
They might have more confidence in Russell as well, with Kimi having that snap coming out of his pit stop.
Yeah, Beck saying Kiki's been struggling on I think I mean Kimi. Yeah, he came off in the first corner.
We can call him Kiki. I kind of like that.
Heavy
Is Max
rain.
going to be upset that all of these VSTs keep coming out?
I don't think so. I don't think so because I think that it helps to save a little bit of the tire, and it also he has an ability to do really well on the restarts. He's very crafty when these safety cars end. It's up to the leader to decide when to do the restart, even though the safety car will have gone in, or the virtual safety car in this case will have ended. Now there are rules; they can't wait for the entire race to do that restart. They have to do it within a certain number of corners. But Max is really, really good about choosing when to go full throttle and restart.
And he's kind of just eating laps right now anyway.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's a bit like like in injury time, you just walk over to the ball slowly.
Yeah,
to
just
take a throw in.
game management, race
Game
management.
because the virtual safety car means the gap should be maintained. Although I have been noticing that the gap has come down.
Yeah, like that's
And
what
Piastri's
I'm
right
seeing. They're creeping up on him.
So basically, the way the drivers get it on their wheel, they'll have here like a big number, and they'll be told to keep to that number. And then maybe Piastri's doing a better job. BTR saying the dry runners are 40 seconds behind. I think we should do a little unofficial poll in the chats here. On what lap do people think the rain is going to come?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to go.
We just saw them
12.
put
I'm gonna do
Stroll.
13.
They just put Lance Stroll on slick softs, brand new slick softs. What is
Yellow
the strategy
A
there?
man likes to live dangerously.
Yes, exactly. Nothing to lose. Yeah. So the red wall tire should have more grip than the mediums. It should heat up more. Maybe they think it's going to rain. I don't know why they've done that. I mean, it's a virtual safety car
With a dark cloud looming. You can see the rain on the broadcast coming down from that dark cloud.
17, Catty, Pass 17, Kate 21, Bet 12, Jack 13, Yogi 14. Keep those numbers coming in. It's a tight spread. No one said it's not going to rain. Catland, we got your estimated lap for the rain or no rain.
I said this yesterday. We were just talking about Piastri creeping up on Max Verstappen under the virtual safety car. It looks like Max has restarted. We are going with green flag. Oscar knows Max's tricks and has tried to find a way to combat them as he's creeping up the back of Max now here in lap 7 of the British Grand Prix. We see that spray coming out so high behind these cars. Look at that spray.
No DRS though. If there'd been DRS there, I think Piastri would have been able to go up the inside at Stowe. But in these mixed conditions, they won't enable DRS. It'd be too dangerous.
Yes, and if you're new to the sport, DRS stands for drag reduction system. It is essentially like the flap in the back of the rear wing, which you can see back there where it says Oracle on the back wing of that Red Bull car. It can flip open, which reduces the drag on the car, giving them that little bit of extra edge of speed. Only the car behind has to be within 1 second of the car ahead in order to activate. Oh, you can see Oscar's DRS opening right there behind Max Verstappen.
And only in specific zones.
Yes, it's only within specific zones. He's trying to make up that time to come in for an overtake.
Keep an eye out on the exit of Maggots and Beckett's and Chapel. See Piastri can open that DRS. There's lots of thunder where I am. I think the rain is going to come down hard at Silverstone. And it might, seriously, if you've just gone back past the pits, it might ruin your race. And if Piastri might go on the inside before Maggots. Oh my days, that is so fast and dangerous. Okay.
Oscar Piastri likes to overtake in some of the more uncommon overtaking spots as well. No one is safe from him around this track.
I love that
And
about his
again,
driving style.
here we go. What will Max do?
Doesn't really defend it. But again, I don't think this is going to decide the race, frankly.
Not at all. Look at that rain.
Look how dark those clouds are, yeah.
I love that, though. It gets everyone up in the grandstands. Everyone's pretty excited for this before they're going to get just...
Oh, absolutely. Just drenched.
Yeah.
People in chat saying it's raining. Russell saying it's raining, but we can't trust George Russell. It might just be sweating.
No.
If it rains, they've just gone around the pits, the leaders here. So maybe someone like Esteban Ocon or a Hulkenberg, 15 seconds behind, they might be the best position here to dive in. And what about, guys, what about the people that went on the hard tyre? What have they gained? What have Mercedes gained?
Respect.
That's all that matters.
If I was Charles Leclerc right now, I would ask them to bring me in to put me on those intros.
Leclerc and Russell side by side. It must be raining or getting wetter because they are absolutely scrabbling. Their race might be destroyed here. They might get lapped. George Russell, fastest lap though right now. So it's the fastest tyre right now, but it's about to rain. I mean, what a crazy race.
Yes.
I can see Race Centre Live people supporting Oscar, enjoying that overtake.
Beck with F1 said Max just doesn't have the downforce. He also did not have the advantage of the DRS in that moment as the race leader. But now those tables have been turned, and now Max is behind Oscar. So we'll see if he can make up that time. Yogi the Legal Eagle said Charles is going to get on the radio and say it's full was water, only Ferrari radio to say must be the rain.
Well, right now he's trying to overtake on the inside of George Russell. It's absolutely fascinating to watch. If the rain was to miss the circuit, this would be the de facto battle for the lead. Sleepy Op saying Behrman in 17th. I can barely watch this between Leclerc and Russell. It's just...
No, I think it's Antonelli that's ahead of Charles Leclerc here.
So, yes, no, you are correct. Sorry, it's Leclerc on Antonelli because they swapped. Yeah, so it's the younger rookie getting hounded here by Kimi. And by Charles Leclerc doing a great job.
You can see that DRS flap open in the back, and he's got him. Easy.
Charles has got it done on Kimi. Okay, great battle, though. So I thought it was Russell because he was looking so commanding.
He was so quick, absolutely. Well,
did he just go into the pits?
Looks like Hulkenberg just went into the pits, and Antonelli has gone into the pits.
Kimi's just gone to the pits. So his second pit stop already.
Go, Kiki, go.
Is it raining in the pits heavily? I can see puddles.
Yeah, I can't tell unless the drops are hitting puddles.
Yeah, I'm not seeing hoods up on some of those marshals, so I think it's just a little dark. Not quite raining yet.
Surely they've put Kimi on intermediates. It's very dark now. I can tell you as a Brit, this means rain. This means
you would know.
Color palette, yeah. Crandall saying Oscar's doing so well right now. V Racing fan in Race Centre Live, just loving it. This could be an all-time race, actually.
Yeah, Motorsport and our official reports in chat saying Lance Stroll's come in under that second virtual safety car, leads the battle of the slick runners in 11th, Leclerc hounding Antonelli for 14th.
So Lance Stroll, that was his first pit stop. He came off the inters onto the soft, so that is genius. That's fine.
I don't think I've seen Lance Stroll as high as 8th position.
I mean, well, he's definitely playing the opposite strategy here, and it seems to be working for him.
He's got the British Racing green. He's doing it at Silverstone.
And I would say he has a very good reputation in the rain, Lance Stroll.
Yes, he does.
Very good reputation.
Yes, he does. That's true. Sleepy Ops said Silverstone never disappoints. I can't help but agree with you. Silverstone is always a hallmark race to watch.
By the way, I can just see Mike's put on the standings there. Verstappen 5.5 seconds behind.
I'm
already
seeing 4. Yes, yeah, he's falling fast. DRS has been disabled by race control.
It must be raining, right? Pit stops are going to get busy.
We can see some of the drops on the camera at this turn.
Yeah.
And Leclerc's gone into the pits.
Coming down in what do you say in stair rods?
But I would say that's gonna rain itself out. That's gonna rain itself out actually. But you cannot be on dry tires right now. You will just lose so much time. So I'm afraid George Russell's race here. But there'll be another opportunity to go to. Oh, they're sliding.
If you take the tires off, can you put that same set back on, or once you use them, you lose them?
You lose them.
You are required to use 2 different compounds of tires within the race. That is a rule that's fairly new. I think it was introduced last year, that you do have to use 2
Oh
different
my
compounds.
days, Lando.
Is that Lando moving in on?
He's
Max,
going for
yeah.
it.
Oh, into Magus and Beckett. That was so nearly an accident. Max is struggling. Mac in Race Center Live saying, what if they red flag this? They'll red flag it potentially if someone goes off. Max, let's go!
Max has gone off.
Oh!
Oscar
saved
Piastri's gone into the pits.
He saved it. He saved it. He's back on the circuit. Max is struggling here. Who has benefited by boxing at the right time? It can't be Lance Stroll because he's on the soft tire. So forget that.
But they are pulling Oscar Piastri into the pits. They are double stacking Oscar and Lando. Let's see how this goes.
Guys, I know what's happened here. It's too wet for their inters. You asked me, Jack, earlier, like, how long can they go? Their inters will be worn down. They need to go on new inters here or even wet tires, which we very rarely see.
I was going to say, because you thought the inters would last for
this is a
14
bad
laps.
pit
They
for
lasted
Lando.
for 12. If you put the inters on again, you're only halfway through the race, and suddenly it could be raining even more.
Yeah, it's so basically because they ran the inters in the dry at the beginning, Jack, they overheated them, and there's quite a lot of degradation. The inters can run in the wet conditions like really happily,
But they
because
thought
they
they
ran
ran
them
sooner, so they were trying to prep for it, but they got too hot.
exactly.
It's
So
also
Max-
worth saying that Max and Lando have just switched positions because Lando had a really short or really long pit stop, and the Red Bull team had a very, very quick pit stop for Max, which has now then switched their positions.
Great spot. Pamara is saying it as
I'm
well.
I'm watching the clock to see if someone does a pit stop that Kireth would do faster.
7 seconds. 7 seconds.
7 seconds is pretty quick, I'm going to say.
You were 2 seconds off from that Lando Norris pit stop there. That was about 5.3. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully McLaren weren't taking notes of my terrible pit stop.
Now, it's worth noting Alex Albon is running P3. He has not pitted, but he's at all during this race. And this was an issue he faced 2 years ago in Canada. He would have been able to do the entire race without pitting. He had managed his tires so well, but they had that rule where you had to pit during the race. So he had to pit in the very last lap. Alex Albon is a tire whisperer in so many ways.
Lando's struggling to get past Alex Albon here. Is holding Lando up. Alex Albon's going to box this lap, but Lando just doesn't quite have the grip. Going to try and overtake on the outside now as they go on the straight into Stowe. It is Piastri leading and Verstappen in P2, but I wonder if someone has gained... I mean, Lance Stroll now is in P6, having just gone on to the intermediates. So I just don't know whether Lance Stroll is doing 4D, 5D, 6D chess, but something's going on at
Who's
Aston
gone off?
Martin.
Oh, no, that's a pit. Sorry.
Yeah, that's Albon going into the pits. But Lance Stroll, driver to watch in P5, I would say. Mike's put it up there. Currently in P4 now, I'm seeing.
He's moving.
Yes, he just overtook Esteban Ocon for P4. Are we about to see a Lance Stroll podium, ladies and gentlemen?
Lance Stroll masterclass incoming. What a strategy, if that makes sense, if that works out. And yeah, I can just see what will be the slow stop. What happened here? The front left just didn't... The wheel gun guy just wasn't ready on the front left, basically, as far as I can see.
The wheel gun.
Yeah. I'll be in touch with them. If we want to get those smooth, consistent 7-second stops. It's raining harder than it's seen before.
Oh. Now, if
Someone's
you're
gonna
Lando
fall off
Norris
here.
right now, what are you thinking? Because you're 1.4 seconds behind Max.
I'll tell you what I'm thinking. Don't crash.
Yeah.
This
You
is
gotta
where you need your team
survive
to make
this.
the calls, which didn't happen at Sochi.
Look at that spray coming up behind those cars. You can't even see the McLaren behind the Red Bull. Look
They
at
may red-
that.
Jack, are you surprised that they have a wetter tire available that they're not using here?
It doesn't
What do
look like it could get much wetter than this.
Because there's a lot of memes that go around like, if you're feeling useless, at least you're not as useless as a wet tire in Formula One that they never use. But Hamilton on the radio saying it's definitely wet tire right now.
Wow. If you want to see some scary rain clouds, take a look at Sao Paulo 2 years ago when Kevin Magnussen took pole position in qualifying. Look at the Saturday qualifying race. If you want to go back and look and see some rain, that was the most rain I've ever seen.
I
That
think
race was like
someone's
in the
gonna fall
rainy
off here.
season of Brazil, right?
Yes.
I see you go, Lazzo. I think someone's going to fall off here. I'm looking at Behrman, Hajar, Antonelli. The rookies are all at the back. And when you get onto the grass here, it's very difficult to, you just end up sliding along it. Safety car is out. Someone's gone off. Safety car's out unless it's too wet.
Yeah, I'm wondering if it's there. They want to kind of gauge these positions because I'm not seeing any timing changes on any of the drivers. Meanwhile, we still don't know what happened to Colapinto, ladies and gentlemen. He is still MIA.
Didn't fancy it. Saw the weather forecast.
He said, I'm not doing this.
I want to hear from everyone in chat what you think about a safety car coming out when drivers aren't even on the wet tire, because I would almost rather you mandate everyone needs to go onto the wet tire within 2 laps or something.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're in the grandstands now, it's not such a spectacle seeing it on the safety car. That's my thought, but I really want to hear what people think about that, because we are now, the race is neutralized and will be bunched up, interestingly.
Now, if they make the call to ask all of the teams to go to the wet tires within 2 laps, will that be popular or unpopular among the teams?
I don't think they can. I don't think it's in the rules to make that call. I was just hypothesizing. Gotcha. As long as it's the same for everyone, I guess it's the same for everyone. But I just conceptually struggle with the idea that
that's Charles Leclerc.
Just ignoring Beckett's.
Cutting across it completely. He said, I'm just going to go straight. That's amazing.
I don't think I've ever seen that before. It was like,
I'll rejoin later.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done that in a video game a couple of times.
Okay, yeah. That's the PlayStation line.
Wow.
Leclerc
and the water
came into his visor.
Leclerc and the water have been the real enemies of this season.
He needs some windshield wipers on the visor.
So this is a fun fact for those who may not know. In the Formula One drivers' helmets, they have what are called tear-offs. So on the visor, it's almost like a little screen film, like what you put on your phones when you put the protective screens on your phone. And it has a tab in the corner. They have tons of them. And so if they get bugs, dirt, things that splash onto their visors, they can reach across and tear it off, which it's only a little bit helpful in the rain because as soon as you tear it off, there's more water that comes onto it. But that is worth noting.
Freddie's asking how many do they have? Like how many strips?
It's loads.
It's 40 to 50. I think it's quite a few.
Wow.
But there have been issues in the past where someone would take a tear off and it would get stuck in the brake duct of the car behind or stuck in the machinery of the car behind. Of course, it's not intentional, but they are grateful for it when it happens.
It's not intentional unless Max does it.
Maybe, I don't know. I mean, that's not for me to say one way or the other, but it has been.
Do like a super quick rundown, maybe, because under safety car, Piastri in P1, Verstappen in P2, Lando in P3, Lance Stroll in P4, Hulkenberg in P5, Pierre Gasly in P6, Ocon in P7, Hamilton in P8, Russell in P9, Alonso in P10. I would bet a little bit that I think the rain is going to end, actually. I think the rain it's going to be moving too quickly. I wonder whether we're going to see drivers relatively quickly go onto a drier tyre here. And actually, that's the really important call, is like, who's going to time it right? Which I'm really interested. If you've got a team, McLaren can split it, actually, because you've got 2 drivers up there. But how that works for the 2 number 1 drivers, one of them's going to get a bad call.
That's right. And technically, if you're looking at it from an unbiased opinion, you should maintain track position and prioritize Oscar Piastri. However, McLaren does what McLaren wants to do, and we'll see what they decide to do. But it's worth noting, because you just did the rundown, which was fabulous. We have Lance Stroll in 4th, Nico Hulkenberg in 5th. Lance Stroll has made up 13 places, and Nico Hulkenberg has made up 14 places. Ocon has made up 7. So I think we have a few. And where's Ollie? Oh, poor Ollie Behrman's in the back, but hey, he's still made up 1 place due to some of these retirements. So it's not over.
Still on the circuit.
Still on the circuit. It's only lap 15. It feels like it's already been 8,000 laps, but it's only lap 15.
So just while we're under safety car, and I can see an amazing stat in Race Centre Live for F1 Stats Guru saying Lance Stroll has spent more laps in the top 4 than Red Bull's second driver, which I think is correct this season. So that's an insane stat. So you definitely want to enter the quiz we're going to do right now in Race Center Live. So in my stream, there's a link at the top that will take you there. Our producer Mike is going to throw up a question. The grand prize here is a trip to the Las Vegas Grand Prix for you and a friend, accommodation and travel paid for by Motorsport. All the terms and conditions are in Race Center Live, so definitely go and check that out for eligibility, etc. But you can see here the graphic. You need to be answering questions today, and then also in the Austin Watchalong for the US GP in mid-October. But you want to be answering right now. So our producer Mike is going to put them on the screen. They're not easy questions, and we can't help you. Good luck, because it's an incredible, incredible, incredible prize. I'm so happy that someone is going to win this prize. So in a moment, our producer will put the questions up, and I'm glad I don't need to try and answer them. So first one here. How many British drivers have earned points in the 2025 F1 season? Good question.
And how many British drivers are there? 4, right?
I kind of don't want to give it away.
I know we don't want to help, but we want to help, but we don't want to help, you know?
I want to be the friend.
Yes.
And we'll put another one up here as well. People noting that the safety car is struggling in the rain.
Oof.
The
They might red flag this.
Maybe I doubt it, actually. I think it's going to get drier now. What year was the first Formula One British Grand Prix held at Silverstone? That's a proper question, that one.
Mm-hmm. I can confidently say I can't help you with this one because I don't know.
It's a historic Grand Prix, you can tell by all of those options.
Definitely.
And one more for now as well. So another one coming up. Good luck, everyone. Dirt Shooter Gary, I can see from my community in Race Center Live, you made it over. Make sure you click the, you have to click it, I believe.
Yeah, click the poll. Don't leave it in the chat and give away your answer.
What corner at Silverstone is known for being one of the fastest in F1? There is a slight spelling mistake there, I will just point out, but it's just a typo. We know what it means.
Yeah, does
Amazing.
it compete with Eau Rouge? Whichever corner that is.
I would say it's right up there with Eau Rouge.
Yeah.
They're almost like sister corners, or however you want to put it. Bit more elevation at Eau Rouge. So we're still under safety car, everyone. And lots of shots of celebrities in the garages, everyone having a good time. But just to answer your question, Caroline, I actually think they've neutralized the race here in a period where drivers may have spun. And I think that's like a debate. Like, some people will say, hang on, these are meant to be the best drivers in the world, whatever the conditions should race. And some people may say, we don't want to see drivers spinning and cars getting damaged and drivers being in danger. Just neutralize it until the rain goes. I don't know what, Caroline and Jack, what your thoughts are on that, because I think there are probably two different perspectives there.
Yeah, I think that Formula One is always towing the line between maximum safety and maximum excitement. And they know that these drivers are the best in the world, of course. But every person has their limits. And I think that prioritizing the safety of drivers therefore prioritizes the entertainment factor as well. You don't want to coddle them. You don't want to hold their hand. But when you have existential factors that you cannot control, like extreme weather, you have to prioritize their safety at the end of the day. There have been way too many deaths in this sport because safety was not prioritized in the past. And we're so thankful for new things like the Halo and like some of the new regulations that make sure that their safety is a priority. Jack, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, you got to finish the race and you got to finish the season, and you're not going to do that if everyone gets destroyed.
Yep, that's for sure. Well, let us know, hashtag continue the conversation in the chats. I actually really want to see your comments on this, so feel free to leave a full one. And Adrian Newey is here at the circuit. He was taking a close eye at the McLaren. He has a lot of history with that team, designing some very fast McLarens. And the safety car, Mach 26, saying in Race Center Live, is in this lap. Bets on what lap is back out. I think there's something like a 90% safe chance of safety car at Silverstone.
Yes,
It
that
nearly
feels
always
right.
happens, and it has happened here. If anyone knows whether more rain is coming as well, there's green flag now. But basically, we're waiting for the safety car to come in. I don't know how they're going to restart this. It's going to be a very dangerous restart.
Ooh. Because now it's in Oscar's hands and not Max's. That was an interesting image we could see from Lance Stroll's onboard, where half of the sky was blue and half of the sky was dark gray. And the question we're all asking is, which side is coming for us?
Right, so we are underway now. It's a full flying restart. They're not restarting under safety car. There's a lot of spray.
Look at that. You can't see anyone else
How
behind
are you
him.
supposed to go around that?
So I would say that because of these zoom lenses, it looks worse than it is. When you're driving a car here, you can see flashing rain lights and you can see a bit more. But these lenses do make it very dramatic. It looks like you can't see a thing. Oh, was there contact there? Oh my days, yes. So, was it a Haas there getting bashed by a Ferrari and then a Mercedes?
Ooh.
That would have been Ocon, right? Who's a little bit out of position, let's say.
And that would have been former teammates Lewis Hamilton and George Russell, who have both then had contact with Esteban Ocon. I'm curious to hear what those radios are.
Yes. Paying it forward to Ocon after he basically took out Liam Lawson.
Yeah.
What I would... Oh, my days. Is that Leclerc up the inside of Tsunoda? Great move.
What a clean... And shout out to Yuki Tsunoda for also not turning in.
Yeah, that was a very, very, very good move by Charles Leclerc. I rate that move a lot. He looks like he's on the move. Iconic scenes here, frankly, like with the spray and the dark clouds and the sun.
It's the sun that's making the spray look so massive. I mean, you can't see any of the sponsorships on the overhangs, let alone the sides of the... Oh, we have a yellow flag, track hazard.
Yellow
Chat
flag.
saying a crash.
It looks like
Antonelli and Hadjar, maybe.
The two rookies who have done so well this season.
Yeah, Hadjar by Cops. Hopefully Hadjar hasn't gone off at
full
Cops.
safety car.
He has gone off at Cops. That could be a fast one. Another safety car. So Crandall, everyone in Race Centre Live absolutely calling this. Oh, that's a big one for Hadjar. So not one of his favourite things he listed, crashing at a very fast corner at Silverstone, Cops. So there's tyres off that car and everything. That's going to be a decently long safety car. Ironically,
you can see the intestines of the car now.
I was going to say, I don't know that this livery brought them quite the luck that they were hoping for, but it is worth noting for those of you who might be watching from home, if this is one of your first times watching a race, these crashes can look very scary with parts and pieces flying everywhere. That is by design in order to protect the driver so that the massive impact is actually taken by the car and not by the person inside of it. So while we are with our cars on the street, sometimes it just looks like a dent or a slight bend of the body of the car. These cars are built to fall apart so that they can protect the driver. And
he is okay. He's getting out. I'm told, yeah, in fact, he's getting out of the halo. So he did take his time there, interestingly. I would imagine he turned in and the rear end came around and he sort of rotated quite a long way over the gravel. I've done it myself in sim racing, not in real life.
Can't see anything.
Cops, yeah. Oh, contact! Contact! So he hit the car ahead of him.
You couldn't even see the brake lights.
Was there, yeah.
And Hatch on the radio saying, I didn't see him. I mean, he appeared out of nowhere, man. Oh my God.
I mean, I wouldn't have either.
Looked like a Williams, maybe. Or was it Kimmy?
It was Kimmy. Boom.
So it looked like Kimmy snatched it and therefore kind of slowed down. And as he did so, Hadjar had nowhere to go. It's probably actually a good outcome there. That could have been a lot worse.
Kimmy did well to hold on and stay going.
You're absolutely right. He was lucky to have that runoff area and not gravel to send him beached.
Mike saying driving F1 cars in the rain is scary. 100%. I mean, they earn their money here, I would say. And maybe my position is shifting a little bit because given how intense that was, maybe it would have just been silly under the rain that we saw previously when we're under safety car.
Mm-hmm. Now, I do think we saw a few drivers coming into the pits in light of that safety car, one of which was Esteban Ocon. Do we think, did he retain any damage from his run-ins with Lewis Hamilton and George Russell?
Is that a car that has damage going down the straight? I'm not sure. I think it was a quick stop from Esteban Ocon. I think it was a relatively quick stop, so I don't think so. I'm looking at the back of Kimi's car as well. There's a lot of wounded cars here.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see them. Oh, very nice
The
flat
penny
from
cap
Toto.
on top of. I've never seen that on Toto Wolff.
That is going to be flying off the shelves, right?
That's going to be a meme that he's joined the Peaky Blinders for the rest of the season. You heard it here first.
And I think the head of Daimler there as well with the same thing. So I think next race centre live, we need to be all decked out. Yeah, even now under safety car, like it's insane. An issue I have when I go racing in the rain is also just the getting your visor misting on the inside. Like there's so many things that you get impaired with, and you just need to use other senses. There's another celebrity here with Ferrari. Beck with F1 saying the rookies are dropping. Could be right, yeah. Sorry, Carol.
They are dropping. No, that's all right. I was going to make a comment on the celebrities. I've recognized more celebrities here than I think I have at any other race since I've been watching Formula One, which I have to give a shout out to Silverstone for that.
There's a very interesting conversation going on in my chat. I just want to shout out.
Oh, let's do it.
I think basically it's like, what if in those conditions you had an infrared overlay on the inside of your helmet? So Hadjar would be able to see.
That could work.
It's kicking. That's my chat getting to different levels here.
Yeah, your chat is innovating.
Yeah, now I am curious if this would work, because for those who have experienced scuba diving, when you go scuba diving, you take the goggles. You actually are supposed to use baby soap, baby shampoo, to wipe the inside of your goggles before you get into the water to keep them from fogging up, because when you're so deep under the water, you actually can't take them off to clean them. I'm curious if if it would work above ground, and if so, if it would be something that they would consider trying, knowing how wet and humid these conditions are.
So I think they do. Oh, another piece of a car comes off there. And was that the McLaren, or did they go over something? Either something came off a McLaren and it's Oscar Piastri, or he ran over a piece of carbon fiber. I think they use things like not rain axe, it's like what we use, but I think they have stuff like that. Because some of the cameras you can actually see are inside the helmet, which I find fascinating, because you can just see like how it actually looks. And if Isaac Hadjar has that camera available, I would really be interested in seeing that footage there with the Kimi situation.
Yeah.
It's getting more overcast, dare I say, at Silverstone. It's not so sunny everywhere now.
Got a nice shout out to Caroline in the chat from M Green. Caroline, I've been following you since we briefly met at the Portland E-Prix at Girls on Track, and I think you're just the coolest.
Oh, thank you so much. We were just talking about Formula E before the broadcast today and how wonderful it is. It was so nice to meet you in Portland. I hope I can see you there again sometime, even though they aren't racing in Portland anymore. Maybe I'll see you at another race if you are considering going, and I can't wait to see the future that you might have in motorsport if that's something that you're dreaming of doing. I believe in you. I think you can do it.
Yeah, that's an incredible program Formula E do.
It's amazing.
It's so good. So I'm really cool to hear that that connection is continuing.
Oh yeah. And Dirt Shooter said that Rain-X does work. Now, is it safe for your eyes? That's my question. Because the reason that we use the baby soap is because it's safe for your eyes.
Yeah, no tears, right?
Right. But I don't know. I've never tried Rain-X on my glasses. That seems risky to me.
In my karting championships, people swear by it, and if it means you get a win, they don't care.
If there's slight blindness later in life, you'll take that loss, right?
Motorsport coming in saying this puddle in turn 2 is a problem. Puddle in turn 2 is a very fast left-hander. That's something race control will pick up on as they decide on the timing of a restart. Yeah, so again, we're not waiting for a car to be recovered now. I think we're just waiting for look, Mike's pulled it up here. So you can see there is a very fast left-hander. This is where Bortoleto, if I remember, just cut across the pit exit and retired momentarily, and then unretired and then retired again. It was a bit of a journey with Bortoleto, but you can see that you don't want to puddle there, because exactly where it says farm curve on the right-hand side, the fastest line is to basically cut that corner. So some people will say you just got to drive around it. Other people will say it's dangerous. Safety car ending, and Verstappen's overtaken Piastri on the straight.
Wait, but he wasn't allowed to. Yeah.
We saw this at Canada.
Ooh.
When didn't Red Bull report Russell or vice versa? I can't quite remember.
It's getting really packed in there. And Oscar's off. Off to the races. Here he goes.
But Verstappen spin being caught, and he has spun! Verstappen spun! He hasn't crashed anything. He's just avoided the pit entry, but he's losing position after position after position because it's safety car. He'll be barely in the top 10 here. A uncharacteristic mistake from Max Verstappen.
That is shocking.
Restarted.
That is shocking to see, but it is also worth noting we are not even halfway through this race, ladies and gentlemen. We are on lap 22. It feels like we've done 2 races already, but we are not even at the halfway point. Max Verstappen has fallen to 10th, so he's still in the points. And again, I don't put anything past him. However, they have Piastri under investigation for a safety car infringement.
Yeah. You know what? Verstappen really struggling here, getting overtaken by Alex Albon in the Williams. Like Verstappen struggling to switch on the tyres. I can see drivers weaving. I think my hunch is that the FIA didn't give enough notice of the safety car ending, so the drivers were not able to warm up their tyres. It could have even been so late that Piastri slammed on the brakes, and that's why Piastri is yellow flag here. Behrman will have gone. The Bearmeister.
Oh, we have a very slow moving. We had a flash of a yellow flag. I don't know what happened there.
I think it would be Behrman. He may have spun. It looks like the rain is coming down again. The rain is coming down again. This is an all-time race, everyone. This is an all-time race. I'm going to call it Lance Stroll victory. I'm just going to call it. He's in P3. Piastri's going to get a penalty for that. I completely agree with my chat there. Piastri's going to get a penalty. But I wonder if it was called late to Piastri. Hang on, Verstappen spin as well. It was such an incredible recovery, though.
It really was.
To just go to spin for 3 seconds and then go again. Top is just unbelievable.
And safely re-enter. I mean, because he had to be looking forward and backward. Oh, there is that.
That's the Behrman spin. Behrman will have gained a few places from that, potentially.
Possibly.
Yeah, pretty good control there, too.
That was close to avoid that wall. Absolutely.
Throw up the trap map, Mike. The producer might be able to explain where that was. Beck with F1 saying the recovery is good to talent. But I think
Antonelli is boxing to retire the car.
Maybe that rear damage. So if you have a look at turn 6...
More Hedra hit him.
Basically, Oliver Behrman just completely cut across there. So he missed all of turn 7 because I think he outbraked himself or might have had a tap from behind. So it'd be interesting to see where Oliver Behrman is now. But being resourceful, we've seen Charles Leclerc completely cut 13 as well, haven't we?
Yes, we have.
Creating some new circuit here. Fiery saying the rookies are almost gone. Who's still there? Is it just Behrman?
Ollie is the last rookie standing.
Come on, Behrman. Well, we all got to be Oliver Behrman fans now.
I think Paddington needs to give him a call if he finishes this race.
Mike saying, is Alonso still there? Yeah, he's in P8. So this could be one of the best results of the season for Aston Martin here.
Absolutely.
Hulkenberg in P4. My goodness me. And
now,
just
Kireth, look out your window. What are we seeing towards the ends of this race? Sun, okay.
Sun now, but there was thunder.
Wow.
By the way, Piastri with the penalty under investigation. I just want to remind us all, I believe there is going to be a window here where the drivers are going to go on to soft tyres. Dry tyres. And some drivers are going to call it right, some aren't. This race is still up for grabs. Fascinating.
Yeah, again, we still haven't reached the halfway point even now. But as this track dries, if we don't see more rain coming, it's going to be a mad dash into the pits, which could shuffle everything that we currently know in this lineup.
I think everyone just put a bear emoji in the chat if you want Oliver Behrman to survive this race. Jack, how are you finding this? Because you joined us in Like,
Yeah, this
is
is
such a great
phenomenal.
qualifying.
This is phenomenal. I feel like there were no drama or no overtakes in Monaco, and Canada. It seems like it just was all right at the end. And I guess you never know what you're going to get. We've seen some fast starts and some craziness, but this has been wild.
Now you're seeing why this is the best gateway race to get.
Ferrari off at Cops. Gets
Ooh, and got
overtaken.
really
That's
close to
Hamilton
George.
was off. Overtaken by Russell.
Are more than half the drivers going to finish this race?
So there is a rule where the championship points are cut in half if a certain number of drivers don't finish. Kireth, are you familiar with that rule?
I know the rule that if it doesn't go race distance.
Oh, yes,
I don't
yes,
actually know
yes.
the rule about the number of drivers. That would.
So this started, I believe, in Indianapolis. I think it was in 2006.
Yeah,
when there were
infamous.
only 5 or 6 drivers that were able to compete in the race. And so the points are adjusted.
Penalty. 10 seconds for Piastri. Chat, let us know whether you think that. I mean, Mike's already saying that's harsh. KM Walter in Race Centre Live with the bear emoji. We love to see it. And Beck predicted it. Welcome EMH1725 as well in Race Centre Live. Ollie for points. If you are lurking in Race Centre Live, do let us know how you're finding the race. Wow, 10-second penalty. Great news for Lando. Great news for Lance Stroll.
That is good news for Lance Stroll. As things sit now, but if you were Oscar Piastri, your goal would be to make as much time as you possibly can, because the odds are is that everybody will pit at least one more time throughout the rest of this race. And so that penalty will be served at the pit stop. It will not be applied at the end of the race unless he pulls out a miracle and doesn't pit again, which I can safely say I don't think is going to happen.
That's
Sounds
really
impossible.
interesting, though. Like, if you think like the context of when they're going to be pitting, the timing is so important, and he's just going to be sitting there 10 seconds. So it is going to be slower than a 7-second pit stop.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone's keeping an eye on Stroll now. Mike, our producer, is circulating the leaderboard. I think we are now basically officially halfway through, which is incredible. Still half the race to go. But look at the gap between Lance Stroll and Piastri. 10 seconds exactly, basically, at the moment. But
it's also worth noting that it's a 10-second penalty, but it ends up coming out a lot longer when you stop for a pit stop, because that 10 seconds doesn't count them actually putting the tires on the car. So it looks more like anywhere from 13 to 15 seconds.
Yeah. And we will talk about Hulkenberg in a second. I just want to catch up with Race Centre Live because Fiery saying Piastri needs to pick up the speed if he wants to stay first. Yeah, he still is in the pound seat, so to speak. If he's got the pace, he can just extend that gap. KM Walter 98 saying the same thing, still a lot of race. Frederick saying, if you could have any drink in the car with you, what would it be? Little fat Frederick. Damon Hill, who was a British world champion, used to put cold tea. I think Caroline might know this story. Okay, he used to put cold tea in the drink, because by the middle of the race, the tea had warmed up and he'd have tea.
That's so funny. I did not know that. That's hilarious.
I mean, I feel
like
hot chocolate, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, it would be boiling chocolate, I feel like, by the end of your race. But I think, I wonder, is it some kind of requirement for the Red Bull drivers to want Red Bull in there? I think it would be pretty conflicting if they wanted anything else. What would you guys
think there's
put?
often Red Bull in that Red Bull can.
Oh, gosh, no.
What do you think, Jack?
I would say water, but you need something with electrolytes. You need something that's going to help.
Like a liquid IV or
everything you're
something.
losing. Yeah.
Like an IV.
No, liquid IV.
Since it's Silverstone, I'm doing Lucasade because it's Silverstone.
Okay,
there you go.
And then we go Gatorade or Powerade for Aston. Okay, nice. All around the world. I like that, actually.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Anab saying tea is good. Tea is good. Tea is great. I'm fully on board with that. It's very sunny where I am now. So I think those clouds are making their way over. Norris being told on the radio, Oscar has a 10-second penalty. That means we will not follow him into the pit stop. I find that really interesting because it sounds like the de facto was they were going to pit them.
They were going to double stack.
Double stack to be fair, which is not what we saw at Austria when they held Oscar. But again, it's a nice situation for McLaren because it's naturally going to separate these cars.
Well, we are already seeing both of the McLarens building that gap between them and Lance Stroll. Lance Stroll is going to potentially start building a little DRS train here because we've already seen that gap widen from 10 seconds to almost 13 seconds behind Lando Norris.
Yeah, and Chara in my chat is saying, can we talk about Hulkenberg? Can we talk about Stroll, Hulkenberg, Gasly? By the way, Tsunoda's got a 10-second penalty, but he's all the way at the back. He's in last place. Like, this season is just the terrible promotion for Yuki Tsunoda to that Red Bull. But yeah, Hulkenberg, Stroll, Hulkenberg, Gasly, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Loved. Oh my days! Hamilton is really struggling to keep up with Gasly. The tractors are good in the rain.
He did complain that on the radio, saying that this car was really hard to drive and it's been very snappy for him today. So I think he feels like he's fighting a little bit with one hand tied behind his back. But yes, I agree. Someone, I think I saw Beck with F1 was saying that she wanted Stroll to win, Stroll for the win on this race today. That would be something to see.
Yeah, and Fiery saying not even a Stroll fan, but just guess I'll just jump on the bandwagon. We love to see it.
Go for the drama.
I can't believe that Verstappen spun. And we need to think about it after. But like, to what extent was that caused by what Piastri did?
I was going to say,
ask what you think caused it.
It doesn't make too much sense to me because it's not like he overheated the tires or something. We didn't lock up, but it clearly unsettled him a little bit. But you'd expect Max to not be unsettled. It could be genius by Piastri, like with a, but I'm sure Motorsport will have the official line on what Verstappen says after about it. So
I'm really, really curious to hear what McLaren presented and what Red Bull presented in that incident when it was under investigation. I really want to know what was said on the radio beforehand, what was said on the radio afterwards, and what was presented, because I do know especially Red Bull is known for showing up with their notes to the FIA stewards when things happen. Yes.
Oh, and there's Yuki.
Yeah, just saw like Tsunoda just wiping out Behrman. That's why Behrman cut the corner we showed you earlier. But I think, Jack, you've been looking up some team rivalries right here, and I'm quite interested to see.
Oh, we might divide the chat here.
Yes. Just before you do that, people noting that Stroll is now 14 seconds behind. I saw you, Alison. So who's going to win this race? I think Lando is the favorite now. Who you may have backed. I can't remember. We didn't really talk about the race, but I know you backed Lando for qualifying yesterday, Caroline. So
yes.
Yes, Lando is to lose right now. So Lando stand's going to be going absolutely mad.
Yes. It would be very interesting to see Lando win. It would further close the gap between him and Oscar Piastri for the Drivers' Championship. It wouldn't quite... he wouldn't pass Oscar Piastri at this point if that was the case, if Oscar finished P2 and Lando finished P1. However, it does give the momentum behind Lando Norris, having him just won in Austria.
Be very close. I think Mike will be able to pull the standings up when the checkered flag goes down.
And if they finish 1 and 2, is that gonna, do you two think the Constructors' Championship is sealed? Does it go in McLaren again?
Yeah, I think it's already sealed. Yeah. Good question. That's a great question. Max was on the radio complaining about the car, that he's slower than everyone ahead of him. I think that this gap that's being built between Lando Norris and Lance Stroll is really going to work in the McLaren favor. That penalty is really going to hurt Oscar. However, I think that McLaren might still come out on top.
As this goes on, though, how much of a rivalry do you think is brewing beneath the surface between Lando and Oscar?
That's a great question.
Hamilton gets it done on Gasly, by the way. Hamilton will be up to P5. Great move. It's all being managed by McLaren, but it's the regulations are changing next year, so there's no guarantee they're going to have the fastest car. Like this could be the only world championship they get. I would just note that on your point about constructors, Jack, I think the McLarens here are lapping super quick because Lance Stroll is pushing further and further back. I don't think Hulkenberg is particularly getting into Lance Stroll. So I think the McLarens here are in a complete class of their own. And it might be that Piastri is really, really pushing because he wants to win this and he's thinking about his 10-second penalty. So they might be pushing each other hard here. Remember, in the first race of the season, we saw Piastri spin at Melbourne in the rain. So he might have something to prove.
Well, now that
He's
he's got
a bit
a
of a chip
clean,
on his shoulder.
and now that he's got clean sight, clear air, he's just trying to make the most of it.
Exactly.
Well, and he's also fighting the tires because these inters, again, they wear so much faster. And so it's also going to be a question of what tires they put on Oscar and Lando's car. If they're going to keep them on the same tire strategy, if they're going to put them on a different tire strategy from each other, that might show who they're favoring as well.
Just a couple of storylines I need to, and let us know in all the chats if any storylines you're seeing. But I think Hamilton can get a podium here. I think he can overtake Hulkenberg and Stroll, which would be incredible to see Hamilton obviously at the podium. I think it's a quiz question, so I won't speak too much about it, but he's been very successful here. Mike saying I need Hulkenberg to pass Stroll. Shelby supporting Piastri. EMH 725 said, let's go Hulk. Keep letting us know who you're supporting. Let us know Snowline as well. But it was interesting to see that radio message, Caroline, because if Piastri had come in and Lando did follow him, Piastri's just got to sit there for 10 seconds and Lando's got to sit behind him. So let's hope that doesn't happen if you're a McLaren fan, but that would be hilarious if it somehow did.
And there's a small part of me that wonders if I was McLaren and was calling the shots here and I wanted to do a double stack, if I would tell Lando Norris to manage the tires a little bit, to build a slight gap between him and Oscar so that they can double stack and have that advantage on behalf of the team. That's a bit of a risky call, but I'm curious if it's something that they've even considered, because now Lando's closed the gap between him and Oscar just that little bit more.
On those lines, Caroline, I wonder if Lando closes that gap more, whether there will be team orders here.
Oh, definitely. I definitely think so.
That would be insane because Oscar is in the lead in the championship and his manager is Mark Webber. So let us know what you think about that in the chat. Mike saying Hulk's waiting. Beck saying they could swap positions. We're talking about the McLarens here. But while we see what happens here on lap 31, I think Mike, our producer, is going to throw some more quiz questions in. And just as a reminder, this is to win the incredible prize for a trip with a friend to the Las Vegas Grand Prix, travel and accommodation on motorsports. And basically you want to try and answer the questions in Race Center Live in this watch along here, and also for the USGP at Austin as well. So you need to be in Race Center Live in my stream. I know there's a pinned link, and I think there might be, I think it's motorsport.com/RCL is basically where you want to go also. So when Mike puts those questions up, you want to actually tap them in Race Center Live or click on them. Don't just put them in the chat. And someone's going to win this incredible prize. We can't help you. I'm not sure you want to help anyway.
I'm not sure how much help I would be anyway.
Yes. But here we go. First one. Great question. Which of these teams is based close to Silverstone? It's getting drier on the circuit as well.
This is a tricky question because it could be any of them. If they had thrown Ferrari in there, it's like, well, it's not Ferrari, but there's not a Ferrari option,
Yeah. They didn't give the gimme there.
No.
I think there'll be a couple more as well. Which British driver got their first F1 win at Silverstone in 2008?
I actually think I might
might
know
be
this
able to
one.
rule a couple of these ones out.
Yeah. I think that's the easiest question we've had.
Yeah. But don't feel bad if you got it wrong. We still accept you here.
And one more coming up as well. Which famous race weekend traditions do fans do at Silverstone after the race? There are some. Okay.
Do you know this one, Kireth? I don't know this one.
I know this one. I also know some of them are not. And we'll get back on the strat soon. Thanks, Ilya, for the feedback on the sound. There'll be a survey at the end of this stream as well, where you can give your any feedback you've got, and I think you can potentially win.
I think we could share the survey now, just so people have it for later.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, the survey, I think, Jack, you might know better than me. I think the first number of people that enter and provide feedback in the survey will win a gift card.
Yeah, I think it's first 20 get a $25 gift card. That's F1 store or equivalent.
There we go. So
Get a discount on your merch, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes. Give your feedback and look good while doing so, basically.
Exactly.
I just wanted to point out what Motorsport was saying in Race Centre Live. They're saying we're nowhere near a crossover to slicks, by the way. With 20 laps to go, I think now 19, we might yet get another stop for fresh inters.
Wow.
So.
It's also worth noting, people, that my daughter is awake.
I thought I heard something coming through on the monitor.
My daughter is awake. I turned the monitor off just in case it was impacting any feedback. But if you heard it, she is up and she is ready to watch this race. And it's not gone past me that it was probably around the time that Max Verstappen spun. So.
I was going to say, that's why it's over for Max, huh?
Yeah,
For
GP on the radio saying we've just heard from Race Centre Live.
Yes.
Kireth also has woken up. Max.
Who could have thought that my daughter might be Max's kryptonite?
Welcome, Miss Chicken 53, the 53rd of the Miss Chicken clan in Race Centre Live. Let's go Hulk. Seeing a lot of support for Nico Hulkenberg.
And Miss Chicken 53, that's what I call my daughter. So if you're my daughter on here, I call her my chicken.
Okay.
So if you're on here, get off. But if you're not my daughter, then stay with us.
Verstappen currently in 10th. I'll do a little rundown again. I'll go upwards from 10. So Verstappen in 10th, Carlos Sainz in P9, Fernando Alonso in P8, George Russell P7, Pierre Gasly in P6, Lewis Hamilton P5, Nico Hulkenberg P4, Lance Stroll P3, Lando Norris in P2, and Oscar Piastri in P1.
I think the happiest person in all of England, if this is what our lineup looks at the end of this race, will be Lawrence Stroll.
Going to be the day of his life.
It would be Lance Stroll's father, who's been building up to this day for a very long time.
I think
I want to see him up on that podium.
Yes. I think the strategy as well, whatever they did, putting him onto softs at some point, seemed oh my goodness me, Russell on Gasly is going to be on the inside of Cops. No, he pulls out. Russell pulls out, and that really compromises him. I think Fernando Alonso might try and sweep past George Russell here because DRS has just been enabled. So George Russell was side by side with Gasly on the old pit complex, and Fernando Alonso, Nico who's in the stake? Yeah, Hulkenberg on Stroll. It's Hulkenberg on Stroll. Hulkenberg's in P3. Everyone's supporting Hulkenberg, and Lewis Hamilton. Is it going to be a through goes Hamilton moment because he's just behind Stroll? The battle for P3 is insane, everyone.
Well, there you go, Mike Hat.
Everyone who's been supporting Nico Hulkenberg, we've been seeing it. The Hulk
and
strikes.
Nico Hulkenberg is pulling away, not giving Lance Stroll that DRS advantage.
Is it going to be the one need to go into new inters here? But Lewis Hamilton, if you get past Stroll, it's going to be Hamilton. He goes up the inside of Village.
It was
and
easy.
Gets it done. Bit of drifting on the exit. So now Hamilton needs to get past Nico Hulkenberg to get on the podium at the British GP, and you could not write it.
And that there on the broadcast, that's Lewis Hamilton's brother. It's also worth noting, Lewis Hamilton has podiumed, I believe, in the last 10 or 15 Silverstone Grand Prix. And so people were very worried coming into this weekend that streak might be over. But it's looking good right now for Sir Lewis Hamilton.
He's got the history. He's got the heart. He's going for it today.
That's right.
And it'll be celebrated like a winner, I think. I think
like
Verstappen got up the inside of Sainz. So keep an eye on a Verstappen charge as well. Could Verstappen overtake the likes of Alonso, Russell, Gasly, Stroll? Maybe. We will see.
That's a tall order. That's a tall order.
I think
they're all pretty close.
You got to put hammers in the chats now. If it's hammer time for Lewis Hamilton, 1.8 seconds behind Nico Hulkenberg.
He's closing that gap fast. Now, if you're McLaren, are you considering possibly pitting now, getting those fresh At least Lando, because he has that 25 or 26 second gap there.
They have
while they're
free
fighting.
pit stop, so to speak. Yeah, I'm surprised I didn't see Gasly pop into the pits here. I don't know whether the drivers are hedging, whether they're going to be going onto dry tyres. I actually don't know what the current lap times are compared to dry lap times, but Motorsport was saying we're not near the crossover. M saying this is hard to watch. Do you want Hamilton continue his podium reign, or do we want to see Hulk get his first podium? You got to choose. You got to choose.
Gotta
basically
pick one.
And that's assuming Piastri can stay in the podium.
That's right.
Yes. As it stands, if all the pit stops were equal, I think Norris will come out 8 seconds ahead of Oscar Piastri for the lead. Charles Leclerc's had a torrid race, really. Also went up the inside of Alex
that looked like some
Albon.
contact.
Albon had to dive out of the way, I think. That could be a penalty. Oh, where's he ahead at the apex, though?
Oh, yeah, he did dive out.
Yeah, maybe it's a great move by Leclerc. It's a fine line. Lynchkin saying...
It did look like Hamilton's overtake on Stroll. It did not look like Stroll was fighting him quite that hard.
I think Stroll's tyres are... one of my tyres are gone. Hamilton saying the track is pretty decent. It's starting to dry up a bit. There'll be a crossover within the next 5 or 10 laps. Don't rule out Hamilton winning this race, by the way. Don't rule it out.
Ladies and gentlemen, buckle your seatbelts. This is not the time to go to the bathroom. This is not the time to go refill your cup of tea. You want to stick around because it's about to get crazy here at Silverstone.
Yeah. Professor in my chat saying crossover in 5 laps. F1 Racing Integrity Race Center Lab saying go Hamilton for the win. Hamilton for the win. You're calling it. You're calling it.
Mike Hat said, is anyone drinking coffee? Yours truly. I'm up here with my coffee.
Blacker, that's too hard for me to choose. I'm staying neutral. This is a fascinating Piastri in the lead with the penalty. Norris fast lap in second. Hulkenberg third. And
yes, Rebecca Ferguson from the F1 movie. She plays the technical director in the F1 movie. Is there watching with Ferrari.
Although I don't think it's actually Rebecca Ferguson. I think it's an actress that looks very similar to Rebecca Ferguson.
Oh, excuse me. I am so wrong then. Forget what I said.
That was Rebecca Ferguson from Mission Impossible.
Oh, yes, from Mission Impossible. Yes. Wow. That was a big miss from me, ladies and gentlemen. I will take that hit.
Let me know what we got right or wrong there, because we're trying to do the celebrity spotting as well. Beck with F1 says Kerry Condon.
Yes,
So,
Kerry Condon. That's correct.
V Racing, that's what racing is about. So exciting. Fiery, the tension is real. If you've just joined, is anyone watching for the first time? Maybe anyone watching Race Centre Live for the first time or Formula One for the first time? Let us know, because you are being treated. Jack, how's your heart rate right now? What are you thinking?
Yeah, you've noticed I haven't really had much to say. I'm just trying to take it in. It's crazy. If this is what it was like every week, I think everyone would be watching it.
Yeah, I mean, this is why we love F1. Nico Hulkenberg. It's sunny skies now.
I was going to say, it's looking very dry out there. I'm not seeing any spray, and I'm even seeing, we have a pit crew coming
Aston
out. Is this
Martin.
Lance? This is for Alonso.
Fernando. So they might be testing the waters for Lance Stroll here. Russell says, depends how brave you want to be. Is Fernando going to go on to dry tyres here? Let's have a look. Is it going to be slicks?
It's looking like slicks.
It's slicks. It's medium tyres. So the most experienced driver on the grid, Sonny Hayes almost, Q's maybe, goes onto the dry tyre. It's claimed many rookies here. A lot of rookies have spun on the dry tyre. But Fernando Alonso, he joined F1 in 2001. So
we just saw a slippery snap from Nico Hulkenberg trying to fend off Lewis Hamilton, breathing down his neck, still within the DRS zone and closing fast. It looks like Nico Hulkenberg is starting to lose his tires a little bit.
I can't believe DRS is open. I just saw them go through cops there, and it's just insane. The grip is variable. Hamilton, in the wake, there's so much dirty air behind these tires. He's going to lose some time. He just went offline. They're really struggling for grip here. let's keep an eye. Chat, help us out with what Fernando Alonso is doing. Motorsport saying in his 25th debut season as a rookie. That's a popular meme.
That's so good.
And G
I
Girl
love
saying
that.
came from Jack's socials. Great race. So one of Jack's fans
Oh,
joining us here.
amazing.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
It's also worth noting that Lando Norris has just set the fastest lap. He is closing that gap to Oscar Piastri. He is coming for that win, ladies and gentlemen. He is not going to go quietly.
I think Russell's going to go for it as well. It's a huge call here from Russell. You look like a genius or you look a bit stupid here. I think he's going to go on to... Can anyone go on to softs? Will softs last that long? I'm not sure at Silverstone. But Fernando Alonso's gone early. George Russell the next to go. Some of the more experienced drivers on hard tyres. On the hardest dry tyres. Interesting. And we've seen Mercedes often favour that. This is going to be... It's going to be like a bit of a shake-up now, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And it might end up in George's favor, and he slips his way onto that podium. I mean, he has proven that he has done it before.
Sneaky George making a move.
He is. He's very sneaky.
We've got some people who are watching on boards with Alonso saying he's struggling a lot.
Oh.
But it could pay off still. But we will see.
He's just breaking in the tires or what?
He's struggling to get the tyres up to temperature. And I'm having a look here. Alonso just ahead of maybe Verstappen. No, it's Tsunoda. So Alonso's lost a lot of time. And he went side by side with Tsunoda.
Oh, wow.
And he lost the position. So, yeah, we'll have to keep an eye. You can see Mike's got the graphic on here of people on the tyres. Just remember, Antonelli downwards have retired. They're no longer taking place. Yeah, it looks like it's damp. Carlos Sainz is... Oh,
the former teammates having an almost run-in, and Carlos not too happy with Charles making that move there.
Basically the same move as Charles did on Alex Albon at the same
That's
corner.
right. He's
oh, is that Russell then?
Oscar.
That looks like that's George Russell doing a
360.
full 360.
We know Tony Hawk is here at Silverstone, and he'll be impressed by that one.
That was a risk with the tires, and
it was a huge risk. He took some grass on his way. I have to say, whoever's in charge of the lawn care here at Silverstone will have less of a job this week, thanks to some of these drivers.
So let's see what happened. Exited Cops on the hard tyre, turned in for Maggots, turned to the right-hander, big snap, 360 YOLO it. I think that's a 720. Or
that was impressive. That was Olympic level right there.
We need Tony Hawk's reaction to that one for sure.
I know. I need to see the Peaky Blinder reaction to that one.
And Russell
much
saying,
wetter
it's
than
much
before.
wetter than before.
Yes.
Yeah, that was almost a 900.
Oh, here it is. Oh.
Toto headbutts the monitor very gently, I should say.
Yes, that was a more subdued reaction than what we normally see from Toto Wolff.
His boss is standing right behind him, so might to explain that one. Kalira Race into Live saying Hamilton is such a pro. Oh, McLaren going. Oh wow, it's very slippery here, and it's super close between Piastri and Norris, and we almost haven't talked about the leaders, have we, guys, for a while?
Yeah, we mentioned a little bit that Lando's closing in on Oscar. I'm honestly surprised they haven't pitted yet when so many people behind them are still fighting, which would then gain them that time in their advantage. But maybe they're just trying to hedge as far as they possibly can to have the freshest tires later in the game. Or do you think they're going to try to go the rest of this race without stopping?
I was going to say, does Oscar want to go to the end and take a 10-second penalty?
He'd be in good shape if so. If he can make it.
Maybe. I don't know, because he still won't win.
No, he may do.
But he would have
if Lando boxes early and loses time.
Yes.
That's what I meant. Yeah.
If Lando pits, yes.
What kind of risk would it be if they don't pit?
If they blow a tire and then they lose the track position. Now, here's my other question: have they been running inters the whole race? Did they ever switch over to softs or to slicks?
No, they switched over. I think they may have gone inters to inters.
I think they did that around
such a gap.
14 when they had the other safety car.
Maybe they're just not going to pit. But then is Lando going to try and do the move on circuit? So if I'm Lando, I'm on the radio now. I'm pressing the I'm pressing the WhatsApp button and I'm saying I'm faster here, but there's no threat behind McLaren.
No,
because McLaren is so dominant here. Mike in Race Sense Live saying no reason to pit the leaders. I feel they will go without stopping. Hamilton in, I'm hearing.
Oh.
And is all the weather out of the picture? Clear skies the rest of the way?
I think so. I mean, it is England, but I think so. And people in my chat saying Alonso gaining now. People who are eagle-eyed on the onboard saying now. So maybe Hamilton's timed it perfectly. Maybe Hamilton's going to go on the medium tyre here as he goes into the pits at Silverstone. What do Ferrari have for him?
Maybe, but he has a lot of time to make up.
Don't tell me it's softs. Oh my days, it's softs.
Ooh.
That's aggressive. George Russell went on the hards. Fernando Alonso went on the mediums. Hamilton's gone on the soft tyre to the end.
In the last 10 laps.
Lance Stroll comes in. What just goes on Lance Stroll's car?
Now, this was the chaos we were talking about. Look at how many drivers are in the pits right now. This is the big shuffle. Meanwhile, both McLarens have stayed out.
Can you afford not to pit if you're McLaren? Can you afford not to pit?
I don't know. I don't know. I think they made the right call not to go into fresh inters 5 to 10 laps ago, but at this point, I think they are really rolling the dice because now all of these drivers on the slick tires are going to be making ground fast.
Leclerc overtakes Hamilton for position. Leclerc's in P4, but presumably can't go to the end on inters. But I saw Hamilton just ignoring Leclerc and just warming up his tyres on the straight.
Yes,
like it was
he
a
knows
formation
he can get him
lap.
later.
Yeah. That's why when Race Sense Live, I think someone called Hamilton the Pro. Did he go deep out of the pits?
Ooh, he slipped.
He did, yeah. I would say that's not the worst thing because you kind of know where your tyres are.
Mm-hmm.
Beck with F1 saying they're saying they need to keep Lando out of DRS to keep Oscar in first. So they're saying to Lando, just don't go in DRS, basically.
Mike is saying McLaren is talking that if they go in, they're going on the mediums. Interesting.
And a great...
Why would Lando not go into DRS?
Because then what McLaren want to avoid, Jack, is they want to avoid a crash between their drivers.
Oh, okay.
They want to maintain a gap.
Overtake Oscar.
Yeah. A great point in my chat saying, what about a yellow flag or a safety car now? And there was a yellow flag. Because what if there's a safety car and one of the McLaren's pitted?
And we had a very slow stop from Nico Hulkenberg.
Yep. It looks like he still might be in P3, though. Soft tyres going
because
on
they pulled in Leclerc. So now Hamilton's made the position up on Leclerc.
Yeah. What a race this is, everyone. Liction saying, stay out, Hulk, tough it out. I don't think anyone can tough it out now. Piastri being told to box, so here we go. Piastri being told to box as another Red Bull comes out of the pits and just cuts farm corner.
All right, keep your eye on Oscar Piastri because he will have to stop stationary and no one can touch the car for 10 seconds.
Yep, and he comes into a stop now.
Oh, don't touch it.
Yes, someone goes in with
they got really close.
I thought they were going to touch it.
The guy in the front, Jack, is almost like,
yeah.
You know when you're not meant to touch something,
in.
and you just like,
there they go.
Mediums on
that
for
was
Oscar.
That was a quick switch. Oh.
So the question is now, how much time is Lando losing on the intermediates?
There's a yellow flag. There's a yellow flag. Track hazard. Oh, we have a Haas off.
But he's okay.
Oh.
He's okay. He's just facing the wrong way. Might be at Woodcut. I'm not sure where it is. That'll be the Bearmeister, maybe.
If that's Esteban Ocon. Esteban has had quite an up and down race today. I have to say, we've talked about him a lot.
Mike's saying that car just
been a boring one.
Yeah. Ocon debris on track being reported. We might get a replay here. So it looks like actually Ocon was going for a move on Behrman.
Boom.
Oh no, Ocon's crashed into Behrman. Exactly.
They both went off.
Yeah. Yeah. And
what are you saying if you're the team principal and your two drivers hit each other?
Well, I know what their former team principal would say.
it did happen at Haas, famously. Synchronized spinning.
Wow.
What do we give that? 8 out of 10.
Impressive.
I'd give it an 8. It wasn't quite together.
Norris boxing again as well. So what do we think the gap might be now between Lando and Piastri?
It's going to depend on how quickly they can get this stop done and how quickly, Oscar. Oh, that was a very fast stop. We'll have to see how much time Oscar's been able to make up on the mediums. Did they put Lando on the mediums as well?
Yes. And
Okay.
Lando, the last driver to box here. It's a yellow flag showing in Race Center Live. It's a yellow flag showing.
Max is showing increased frustration with the car
Yeah.
as he's running in 6th now.
He's not happy about that.
Oh, Lando had a little snap coming out of the pit lane.
6.5 seconds is the gap.
All right, people, do you think that Oscar can make up that gap in the next 7 laps or no? Let us know.
And Hamilton somehow is 7 seconds behind Hulkenberg. It's a long way behind. But he's on the soft tyre. Miss Chicken saying it's possible. Beck saying no. Old Welder in Welcome to Race Centre Live saying yes. Piastri off. Being reported to me. BCR Esports reporting Piastri off. We'll have to see. It's all being shaken up here. It's like a cocktail. You know when they're doing all that stuff. You like just pull my drink out. But is that Spacey? What's happening with all 15 drivers left? You've got to feel for Yuki Tsunoda in last place here. Piastri did go off.
Oh, managed to save it, stayed straight. Wow.
There's been some good shortcuts today.
Yeah, he also went off at Beckett's. He
Do
might
you
have gained.
Do you get a penalty for going off track like that?
So
Good
what
question.
they'll do is they will invalidate the lap, so it won't count as if it was the fastest lap for the record books. But they might just give him a warning. I don't think he tried to do that.
No.
But I think he may have gained some time, and that gap is under 5 seconds now. It looks like we've got discussion for favourite cocktails in the chat as well.
That's amazing.
Let us know.
So typically, if they go off of track limits, they will inform the team and then therefore the driver that they've gone outside of track limits. And if you do it a certain number of times, you take a penalty. However, I think they are more forgiving in conditions like these.
What a save that was from Piastri.
That's
everyone,
right.
I want to hear from everyone in the chats. Do you think Oscar Piastri is going to get this done? Because the gap is 4.5 seconds. The gap is 4.5 seconds. So if Lando's struggling here, I really want to see the McLarens race each other for the win here. So just let us know. I think Piastri will catch Norris. Hulkenberg is the fastest lap now. So he might get the podium over Hamilton. Lance Stroll's in P5. Verstappen has gone up to P6.
This could be very interesting down to the line at the very end of lap 52 for the McLarens. However, I don't think they're going to let them fight because I don't think that they want to see the 1-2 lost because they're fighting. But I do think it's going to get dicey between Lewis Hamilton and Nico Hulkenberg.
Let them race. On board here with Charles Leclerc. What have you done at Stowe? Have you run wide on the exit? Oh, yes, you have. Into the gravel. At Stowe, is there a little escape road on the outside? No, there isn't. Has he kept it going?
Keep going.
Terrible day. Reminds me of some of Felipe Massa's days in the wet. He's rejoined, but
that was close.
That was dangerous to get back on. Like, what kind of rear view mirrors do you even have? Because they always say, "I didn't see him behind me. I didn't know he was there."
That's the standard. Like
that's a typical line. They're supposed to be told by the engineer when they have someone coming from behind, but sometimes they miss it.
I mean, if you're going 150 miles an hour, you can't take your eyes off the road.
That's right.
They do have little wing mirrors, but as you say, Jack, they'll often say I didn't see it. But that could be a dangerous rejoin potentially. It's kind of irrelevant for Charles Leclerc because he's in P14.
It's been a race to forget for him, for sure.
By the way, Oliver Behrman fans, Oliver Behrman, the rookie, the last standing rookie, is in P11, hunting down George Russell for a championship point here.
It's very possible.
Yeah, again, I think we need those bear emojis, and there's a prize of Alex Albon in P9 just ahead as well.
Also worth noting that Lance Stroll is still in this fight in P5. He's going to come home with some pretty beautiful points. Oh, and look at our driver of the day split, Nico Hulkenberg. I am shocked that Lance Stroll is not on that list. I really am.
Yeah, what's going on there? Miss Chicken in Race Centre Live saying, way to go, Lance.
Yes, thank you, Miss Chicken.
I wonder if McLaren have said, guys, let's just keep it let's just keep this gap. It's too risky. We don't want any crashes. Hamilton, is he just going to go for it? I think he's lost a second, so he's probably just made a mistake now. What an incredible race this is! Like a. We were chatting, I think, earlier, saying like some of the street circuits, you just don't get this. But this is a proper high-speed circuit. And how many drivers have we seen kind of going off circuit at high speed?
Too many. Now, here's my question. Who do you think is going to be more excited with this current finish? Lando Norris winning at home or Nico Hulkenberg getting his first ever podium?
The Hulkenberg podium.
Got to be Hulk, right?
I don't know, Jack, what the equivalent in football is. Or like, it wasn't the Chicago Cubs in baseball like never won for like 100 years.
Yeah, we didn't win the World Series for like 100 years.
This is like Hulkenberg hasn't been on the podium like it's like a 100-year thing.
Yeah.
Piastri saying we're not going to do any team orders. It's just 5 laps to the end, but Piastri's dropping back. So
it would feel a bit like the Cleveland Browns going to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, let us know what you think.
But a podium's not a win, though.
Correct. But it feels like, I mean, this to him would feel like a win.
For Hulkenberg, it's like the guy left F1. He didn't have a seat, even though he was really talented. He's quite a tall driver, and that seems to. It's hard to sometimes design the cars for him. But his pace has never been in question. So he came back to Formula One with a stake. This is an incredible result for stake. Like it's like Leicester almost winning the Premier League kind of thing. And he's keeping Lewis Hamilton behind him.
F1 Racing Integrity has brought up that Piastri asked on the radio for Norris to swap to let Oscar win. I haven't been listening to the radios, but can we confirm or deny that this has happened in the chat and how we feel about that?
We need an official, maybe motorsport.com to weigh in on that one. But I think a lot of people saying it's a historic moment for Hulk, actually. Especially with his ex-teammate Kevin Magnussen here as well, in the garage with him. So there are just going to be 2 and a bit laps to go, everyone. And the gap between Lando Norris and Piastri is 6.6 seconds. Caroline, that 10-second penalty.
It's really what did it for him at the end. And that's why I said I would be really curious to see what McLaren brought to the table in that hearing about the safety car infringement, because a lot of the time, some of those decisions come down to how the team presented their evidence. And if it was an honest mistake, then maybe that was too harsh of a penalty. But if it wasn't, then it was deserved.
How much time do you have to present these arguments? Because it's like race control hands that down pretty quickly.
We used to kind of hear them live, but they stopped it. I've got some interesting... the message being retracted, so I'm not sure I want to say it. But it was something like, allegedly, Oscar potentially saying that Lando should have got the penalty instead. So therefore, he wanted Lando. Correction, Piastri thinks his time penalty is unfair and asked McLaren for team orders. Imagine you Oscar Piastri and you think this time penalty is completely unfair.
Should have been a 5-second penalty. Then they would be going neck and neck.
Wouldn't that have been interesting? I still think that the team would have called... no fighting, because this McLaren team, they want them both to finish. They want the P1, P2 at the end of the day. I think that that's really, really interesting, because when you look at some of the historical emotions for Lando Norris, he's been in this position before with Daniel Ricciardo a few years ago, where he was leading the race. Daniel was behind. And they gave them team orders, told them to swap. Daniel went on to win the race at Monza. And Lando was not able to get, and that would have been Lando Norris's first win in Formula One.
I would not be pulling over.
Great knowledge.
And so I don't think Lando wants to give this up right now, because he did not get his first win until Miami last year. It took him a long time to get a win again. Or to get a win in general.
2 laps to go, everyone. 2 laps to go. 6 seconds is that gap we're talking about. Frederick saying the cool-down room will be fun. If you don't know what the cool-down room is, we do get a microphone when the drivers get out of the cars and they kind of get a towel to freshen themselves up. We do hear what they say. Are we going to see Oscar Piastri maybe? He has this cool, chill guy persona. Is this going to get to him? We will see. In fact, Liction in Race Center Live saying Oscar will never forget this one. That's one thing. If he's made a mistake, he's given a penalty, he learns from it with all he's got. Surely he'll be angry, but he won't let it happen again. We'll see.
Yeah, I think he'll be angry. I don't think he'll let it show. He's not a super passionate person. I think that he likes to, and I don't know him personally, but I think that from what I've seen from him, he shows respect to his teammate, he shows respect to his team, but he doesn't forget. And I don't think Mark Webber forgets either, his manager.
I wonder if Max Verstappen deliberately didn't brake as hard as he could to show it. We saw fun in games at Canada.
Penalty.
Yeah, a bit like a flop, I think, is it called in
in football. I wouldn't put it past
basketball.
him. I really wouldn't. Max has been known to play games like that, but they're fully within the rules. So there's no penalty for him for that.
I'm hearing Stroll is slowing, and I can see Mike has put up on the leaderboard that Verstappen is now in P5. So what a comeback for Max Verstappen. And the gap, as we enter the last lap right now, Lando Norris, if it does stay this way, and we're talking a lot about penalties and stuff, I guess, with the Lando stand here, so many fans supporting Lando Norris, such questions about his mentality and like his temperament this year, to win at Silverstone in the rain after what happened at Sochi a few years ago. He's doing his final corners.
Yeah, that's what you were saying. He was not the best in the rain, but credit to him.
This was a redemption run for Lando Norris, the hometown hero, to win it here at home. It's something that I don't think he will ever forget or ever take for granted. I think this trophy will hold a very special place on his wall for a very long time. And I surely hope that I see camaraderie between him and his teammate at the end of this race.
Yes, but I would also love it if there isn't, because I think that makes the rest of the season, Lau. You know, it reminds me of Hamilton and Rosberg. That's those seasons at Mercedes. As Lando, I think, is it the Hamilton Straight is called now? So Lando goes down.
Really?
Yeah, I think past. I can't remember where the Lando stand is, but the last few corners now around Stowe, and the crowd rises. Union Jack.
You can see Lando's stand. That's beautiful.
Incredible. That's the photo you'll be seeing all over motorsport, I would imagine.
Here he
and
comes.
he takes the checkered flag. Insane.
Good for
what a
him,
race.
splashing everybody with the spray.
And I think we want to see what Oscar Piastri. I mean, Zach Brown's the happiest man in the world right now.
Oh, everyone guard your shoulders. He's coming for those slaps. If you've seen Zach Brown and his celebrations. And here comes Nico Hulkenberg.
Is his engine going to make it? There's a Red Bull ahead of him. He's about to lap Yuki Tsunoda. Come on, Nico Hulkenberg. It's been such a long time. And everyone who's standing up will surely still be applauding him. And he takes the checkered flag.
Oh,
yeah, well deserved.
Oh, and I think his team, the fact is insane scenes in the stake. Kevin Magnussen there as well.
And that's really beautiful to see Kevin Magnussen there supporting him. They are former teammates over at Haas before Kevin left to retire. And so to have him there for that historic moment really is beautiful.
Yeah, a famous interchange between them, which we can't repeat because we can't say those words.
Beckwith F1 said 239 starts to get a podium for Nico Hulkenberg. How exciting.
Reactive 7143 as well. Welcome to Race Centre Live. Happy for Hulkenberg. And I see Mike Hatt with a great shout. Lando needs to go pull donuts in front of the Lando stand. Will he get the Union Jack as well?
I'm sure.
Incredible
Look at
scenes.
him. Oh.
That chrome livery is now iconic.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. This reminds me of Charles Leclerc winning last year in Monaco for Ferrari.
It really is.
It's just enjoy this moment, I would say, Lando. Like it doesn't get any better than this as a British driver. Wow. And we are spoilt in Britain for great drivers. I mean, we're very lucky.
Yes, you've now had back-to-back British driver wins. How exciting.
Gabriella saying, well done to Lewis. Yeah, Lewis P4 couldn't quite in the end. Maybe the soft tyres wasn't quite there, but what an incredible race.
He made up some time. He's had a lot of trouble with the car this year, right?
Mm-hmm. That's true. A P4 finish is an incredible finish for him in this Ferrari that's given him so much trouble so far this season.
And the only Ferrari in the points.
This race could be a movie. Yeah, good idea, that.
Nico Hulkenberg started in 19th position, finished in 3rd, and won the driver of the day. I can't wait to see what Drive to Survive does with Silverstone. This is going to be really exciting.
Meanwhile, I
Who-
think on the last lap, would this be Pierre Gasly on Lance Stroll into Stowe? Stroll went defensive. Pierre Gasly, did he get the move done on the circuit or did he go off the circuit? No. I think a last lap, last corner move, yeah. And Alpine are, again, I don't want to give away questions, but Alpine are based very close actually to Silverstone. The end
I think you can. I think you can give the answer now. That question's been used. Do we have any other poll questions?
Okay, have we told the question? There'll be some more questions maybe. Lando,
all right, let's see how this goes between Oscar and Lando coming out of the car.
A little bit disappointed no burnouts in front of Lando's stand, I have to be honest. And
well,
no Union Jack.
You wonder if it's because there were cars still finishing their laps and coming in.
It shouldn't really work like that because once checker flag goes, everyone behind should take it.
That's fair. That's fair.
But I know Lewis Hamilton would always get a Union Jack, and I wonder if he just there we go.
Classy Oscar. We love to see that.
Shakes Lando's hand. You'd be feeling bitter, and you never want to finish P2 on the podium. It's the worst position. But iconic from Lando here. You said, Caroline, someone in your community had painted their head, I think, right?
No, it was somebody at the Lando stand.
Okay.
He shaved his head and then he painted it that neon greenish yellow and then drew in the black design all over his head. Pretty impressive. Oh, that was a very soft hug. Very uncharacteristic from Zach Brown.
Norris, Motorsport in Racing Live saying Norris closes to within 8 points of Piastri.
So this next race could be the one that if Lando can win another one, it could be the one that finally gets him ahead. Oh, I'm going to cry.
Nico Hulkenberg,
It's so beautiful.
the whole team, it's insane scenes, really. This is the best pictures I've ever seen in Formula One, frankly.
That's incredible.
That was awesome.
So the man in the all neon yellow there, that is Lando Norris's father.
Yep, that was Adam Norris. He famously, when Lando was karting, he'd rent out whole circuits and spray the circuit wet so Lando could practice in wet weather. And Lando won every opening round of the kart championship. But Nico Hulkenberg, the celebrations are just people wrote him off. I think this is about the Hulk, this one. What an incredible story.
As it should be. This is so beautiful to see.
Lando gets weighed. Hopefully no drama with planks and everything.
That's true. We were worried about the Ferrari yesterday, and it's also worth noting that the cars are randomly selected to be tested for those plank tests. So sometimes it might feel intentional that if they end up being disqualified due to too much wear on the planks on the floor, it is 100% randomized.
I would just say that on wetter tires, you end up having more tread. So you end up the car's a bit higher. So I would be surprised, but you never know, fuel samples and everything.
That's his mom. Oh.
You know what? People wrote Lando off. People, even myself, I've made short videos saying, is Oscar just a better driver than Lando? Like, what does it mean for Lando? Lando has proved a lot of people wrong here. Like, that was a strong result. However,
Lando never lost the faith because in the face of that penalty, that made it happen for him.
Yeah, he did need the penalty, but maybe he would have done with that, but he was in the right position.
That's right.
That kind of took Max out of the equation.
What do you mean?
That incident when he spun, right?
Yeah, the Max spin, that was terrible. He spun at literally the worst moment because the whole grid was like bunched up.
Yeah.
That'll be interesting. Oh, Josh Goes Slow says to Caroline, this is from my chat, saying, did your daughter end up watching?
Yes, I can hear her outside right now. She woke up around the time of Max's spin and has stayed awake for the rest of the race. So the streak lives on, the lore lives on, that my daughter has still not seen Max win. She's seen Max on the podium, but she's never heard the Dutch national anthem. That's what I'll say. She's never heard it. But she has heard the British and the Australian and the Spanish and the Monegasque. She's heard quite a few.
Jensen Button interviewing Nico Hulkenberg.
Oh.
By the way, I would just say that team is going to become Audi next season.
Yes.
Audi don't mess around. Dominated Le Mans so much it actually became boring. So Nico Hulkenberg, just keep an eye on this storyline here. See Sayali in Race Centre Live saying still going strong. Welcome.
Is Hulk fighting for a place then next year on that team?
He's got it. He's got that place.
Yeah, he's already signed the contract. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But he's proven that you can leave the sport, kind of like Fernando Alonso. You can leave the sport and come back and still be very successful. But what he didn't have going for him that Fernando Alonso did was that Fernando Alonso has won championships before. Nico Hulkenberg had never won or podiumed a race before and was brought back in with Haas. And everybody was scratching their heads trying to figure out why is Nico Hulkenberg back in Formula One. And today is a testament as to why Nico Hulkenberg is back in F1.
I love that. Yeah,
good for him.
100%. Let us know in Race Centre Live as well how you found the watch along today. Any highlights? Because it's been like crazy race. Like, remember we just went on the safety car for a while, and then we came out of safety car and we had some crashes, and we came back under safety car, and then those pit stops at the end. We did go onto the dry tires. And then that Oscar Piastri moment, I mean, it sounded like unconfirmed that it sounded like he wasn't happy about it, that penalty. The Max Verstappen spin, I don't remember the last time I even saw that.
It would have been, I think it was last year, maybe 2 years ago, in one of the European races that he did a spin because it went viral. But also, did we ever find out what happened to Colapinto?
I feel like he just boxed like on the entry lap or something.
And just ended it.
We'll have to see. McGurk, have we discussed why Russell opted for hard tyres when the obvious choice would have been mediums? I don't know, but sometimes Mercedes prefer hard tyres. And I can see there was a message Mike saying the highlight was watching Max spin. Found RCL from Caroline. Very nice.
Mike.
Oh, good. I'm so glad. For those of you that have come here with me, thank you so much. It's been such a treat to have you here. I think I see Linkson saying thank you. So you're so welcome. I thank you for coming. This has been a true treat. It's been so fun to have Jack here with us today. Kireth has been giving us a masterclass in how to do these streams. You should check them both out as well. If you're here from any of my feeds, they're wonderful and worth watching.
Yeah, I think it's been great to just chat and have different opinions on stuff. I think it's been really refreshing. So I've personally really enjoyed it. Just a couple comments here I've got on my chat. Truly impressed with Caroline's knowledge and delivery.
Oh, thank you guys so much.
Phil says, where were you before? That's not the language there, but before doing this with Kireth. I think can find you on Instagram. I think the socials will come up after we remind you to take the survey. So Motorsport really want your feedback on Race Centre Live. They really want to keep improving it. This is a real community thing. I can obviously see a bit behind the scenes, and we really want it to be a fun space where people can come with opinions and we can discuss it. No worries. Phil, lots of praise coming in my chat for Caroline and Jack as well, which is
thanks for
awesome.
having me. Thanks for not diminishing the fan experience and showing the way, telling me about some of these things that may be obvious, maybe they're not so obvious for everyone, and I just really appreciate it.
Yeah, Beck's going to share on Insta. Chira in my chat saying, please ask Caroline to join you more often. She's an amazing host and would love to see her again during races. So you definitely want to follow Caroline
you
there.
Guys. Oh, this has been such a love fest. I really appreciate it. Some of the jokes
with the lore as well.
Oh yes, I will keep you guys. I always give the lore review in my stories on the weekend. So if you're ever wondering if my daughter's watching, I always note in there if she has eyes on it or eyes off of it. People are also making some tongue-in-cheek jokes in the comment section about Oscar's energy levels here, that he's fuming because he said that, quote, "I'm not going to talk about it right now because," and I think this was a very classy thing to say, that the best thing of the day was that Nico Hulkenberg, very exciting for him. We'll talk about it later. Oscar is fuming.
Yeah, fair enough. But if you're Lando and you win the British GP at home and your teammate says the best thing about today was something else. Ooh.
Great point.
Sassy. That's true.
Yeah. Wow. Maybe it's starting to come apart a little bit at McLaren, just 8 points.
Maybe we're looking into it because McLaren's 1 and 2 the whole season, but maybe there's something below the surface.
Yeah, I think that I don't think that Oscar's issue is with Lando directly, because I don't think that I could be wrong, but I don't think that his beef is so much with Lando as it is with the team. I don't know how supported he felt by the team in that proceeding with the safety car, and that he felt that maybe they prioritized Lando unfairly, seeing as Oscar was leading. And this is all speculation, folks. I don't have any extra information that you also have. But yeah, I think it would be, I mean, you'd be remiss to say that it wasn't a great and a historic day for Hulkenberg. I think in Oscar's mind, Lando's won before. Yes, this is an amazing win, but it's not a first for him quite like it is for Nico Hulkenberg.
Yeah, there's so many interesting thoughts about the safety car thing. I mean, going back to 2021 at Abu Dhabi when Max did go a little bit ahead of Hamilton, there was no penalty. People saying, Mike in Race Into Live saying the penalty was harsh. Yeah, maybe a 10-second was harsh as opposed to a 5. Did the fact that Verstappen spun, did that influence the size of the penalty? Katsu in Race Into Live saying, learned a lot today about rules I had no idea about. Thank you. We're definitely tested us.
Good.
I think there was one we need to check about. If enough drivers hadn't finished, would there be half points? Because that would be really interesting for the championship.
Yeah.
And I would just recommend, obviously, follow motorsport.com on all the socials, because all the reporters there will be doing the interviews and giving you the actual inside line on what's happened.
Yeah, we did see here in the cool down room a warm greeting from Oscar Piastri to Nico Hulkenberg. There seems to be a lot of love right now in the cool down room, and no sign of Lando quite yet. But
he was outside signing the champagne bottle and writing
"Oh
my
yes,
dream on
I
it.
love that new. That's new. Them signing the champagne bottle. That I mean, maybe they've done it before. I haven't noticed it before this season, but I've really loved that little touch from the winner.
I didn't notice it either. That's pretty cool though. Lando is there now. Some more
Putting
feedback
his stuff
coming
in
in
P3.
here.
Interesting.
Definitely puts in the survey. I honestly feel like Jack's presence is great. Also reflects the chat here, a mix of those who've been around for a while, subscribers who rejoin.
Thank you.
After a certain time, people are new. So really glad you enjoyed that. It's a bit like the cool down room, us three, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, look at us.
Except with the
Mike
awkwardness
said it got
of Lando.
really quiet when Lando walked in. It got really quiet.
I'm feeling here, Mark Webber, that tenseness with Vettel sometimes. Hamilton and Rosberg, remember Hamilton throwing the cap. I'm feeling that vibe here, that we do start to know and love this storyline between the drivers, and that's why we are invested in their personalities, because we want to know, like, yeah, this could be a great season, even though the McLaren is pretty dominant. And maybe McLaren are serving us up a treat, because they haven't said one's number one, one's number 2 driver.
Yeah. And I think it's also interesting and poetic that Mark Webber is Oscar Piastri's manager. So Mark Webber's been there before. He's been shoved into the driver 2 seat before. And he has been one of Oscar's biggest champions so far in his career, getting him out of Alpine, getting him over to McLaren, giving him this shot, showing what he's made of, and standing by him in this success. So I'll be curious to see what moves Mark Webber makes on behalf of Oscar Piastri as well.
Yeah, I imagine this might be like Matthew McConaughey in Tropic Thunder, when he's Ben Stiller's agent, getting him that TiVo.
Yeah.
That's exactly who you want to say to Zach Brown. Some interesting comments. Michael in Race Sense Live saying, I can feel his silence, but Mike Hatt saying there isn't animosity. I probably agree with both of those. So it's like an awkward silence, like we know it's going to come to a head at some point. Oh, if it comes to the last race, or Las Vegas, if it comes to
where
Las
you
Vegas.
can go, you and a friend. Yes. I would love to be your friend if you need a friend to go.
Oh, my producer Mike is going to throw up some more questions.
Oh,
Alert.
perfect.
So
stay with us.
make sure, if you want to answer these, you're in Race Center Live. So just to say again, Motorsport are giving away, I'm going to call it a trip of a lifetime, basically. You and a friend to Las Vegas GP, accommodation and flights on Motorsport, and you need to answer the questions that are going to come up very shortly in Race Center Live, and then also in Austin for the US GP, October 17th to 19th. Full terms and conditions in Race Center Live. We can't help you with the questions. Thanks, Professor. But good luck, because someone is going to win an amazing trip. And if you need a friend, we're all available.
Yeah,
basically.
no kidding.
So good luck. Beck with F1 says, yes, let's go to Vegas. Good luck, Beck. And that's a link, by the way, if you don't have a pinned link close by, motorsport.com/RCL. Incredible prize. I think our producer is going to throw them up as we're going to be watching scenes of the podium. And Oscar, moody Oscar, I would say, on the podium for me. Not a happy Oscar.
Yeah, his mood shifts are so subtle that you have to really look closely.
Yes. Oh, Lando, yes.
Good for him. That'll be a nice picture.
Enjoy it. I've been lucky to work with Lando a few times, and he's a very interesting character. Not always as he's portrayed.
Mm-hmm. He's very shy. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I've worked with him before too.
I was going to say, I thought I remember seeing that photo of Caroline and Lando.
Yeah, he's a lot quieter than he comes across on camera.
I think he's very marketable, and sometimes the marketing people around him portray him in certain ways. But he's just a boy who grew up wanting to win an F1 race at Silverstone, frankly.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he's done.
Yeah, taking it in. That's great. What a moment for him.
And I think it was probably easy to have less animosity in that cool down room because they can come together and be happy for Nico and share that.
Miss Chicken saying Vegas, G-Girl saying Vegas, and Mike Cat saying, can we meet Kireth, Caroline and Jack in Vegas? Would be a nice addition to the sweepstakes meet and greet.
Ooh.
I like that.
I see what you're doing there. Well, for those who may not know, I always do a meet and greet at every race that I go to, regardless. Of course, I'd love to have Kireth and Jack join me as well. But if you ever want to meet me at a race, just check my stories. I always put the meet and greet info in there.
Lando, and it's the old school Silverstone trophy. They replaced it once with a UK Bank trophy, and it wasn't very exciting. And I think Lewis Hamilton complained. Don't break this one, Lando. These are old school trophies, like the Wimbledon trophies. Oh, they've got a Lego trophy.
Lego trophy. That is really cool, but so easy to break.
It looked like it was bending.
That was bending. Can you imagine if that? Okay.
You gotta piece it together on the podium.
He took it and flattened it against the ground to keep it from breaking last week.
Is it a jaunty angle, let's say?
These are pretty.
Is it constructors? Is that no? That's real or Lego? You know, like it's real or cake. This thing.
Yes, I love that. That looks real.
Yes, I'm gonna go real on that one. And
oh, how cute! That looks like Lego to me. No, maybe it's not. They're all so different.
Yeah.
Wait, how many trophies did Lando get?
He got a they gave him a real one and they gave him a Lego one.
Trophy.
I see. So the winner gets a Lego one as well.
I was like, Hulk gets on the podium and they give him a Lego trophy?
That can't be right. No, that's a real trophy. That can't be Lego. It is Lego. It's Lego. It's on blue. Come on, Britain. We could give you
I kind of love it. I think it's cool.
Hopefully there's a anyway, maybe he's enjoyed it, but you can see that the champagne is
Mike said
that's definitely real.
Mike said Nico finally gets a plastic trophy.
Yeah.
There is an irony in there. I'm just so happy for Lando here, to be honest. Mm-hmm. I'm really happy for Lando. I can't explain how much pressure there is on a young guy with all these sponsors, his whole stand. Like, what if there's an issue with his stand with ticketing or something? Or like, Hilton are doing a massive thing here, MasterCard doing a massive thing. He would have been dragged here, there, and everywhere for promo. There's a lot of weight on those shoulders, and then you've got to drive in these conditions. And he was the best out of everyone and beat his teammate. But I also understand why his teammate's going to be fuming.
Nico is not letting go of that trophy. He's not going to let go of it.
Said I'm the only guy in this photo with a trophy. I won.
To be fair, I love this photo because
Me
for Nico
too.
Hulkenberg, that is a winner's trophy. And I don't mean that in a sarcastic way at all.
Absolutely. No, you're absolutely right.
He had to go out and win it.
He's put in a lot of time, a lot of money, and a lot of effort for that one trophy.
And he started 19th.
Yeah. I actually find that really inspirational because even in my racing career, like sometimes I'm lucky to win trophies. I'll often stand up there and I'll be like pretty cool about it and you don't want to look too impressed. And I actually really genuinely regret not celebrating more my
Yeah, you should celebrate it. Don't be too cool for the
But
trophy.
that's a motorsport thing, kind of. But seeing Nico Hulkenberg very proudly say this trophy is important for me, I think is quite. I think that generally is quite inspirational for a lot of people. Like a third place is you're still on the podium. There's a reason why there's a podium.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You said it at top 3. Wow, coming hot off the press and people saying don't smash the trophy, Nico Hulkenberg.
That's true.
We're going to have some more quiz questions for that prize I was just talking about, the trip to Las Vegas with a friend, accommodation travel on Motorsport, all terms and conditions in Race Centre Live, motorsport.com/RCL. So producer Mike is going to throw up the questions. We are getting to the business end of this, right? Like, you know, if you're getting these questions right, you're genuinely going to be in a decent place maybe. So
Odds are better and
good luck.
better.
Yes. Do you want to read them out, Caroline? Because I've read them all out.
Which engine manufacturer powers McLaren in the 2025 F1 season? Read that very carefully. In the 2025, this year, F1 season.
That's a difficult team because they've gone through their manufacturers. Good question. I like it.
That's a great
absolutely
question.
no help on this one.
And they didn't try to trick you by putting McLaren as one of the options, which I respect.
If it was, I would have picked that one.
Yeah, exactly. In what month is the British Grand Prix usually held?
There's an easy way to.
I was going to say, you should probably have this one in your pocket if you have a calendar.
It could be a trick. See, I'm now overthinking it.
Oh, that's true. I don't know anything. All right, and it looks like we'll have another one. What is a key challenge at Silverstone? A key challenge. This is for the F1 nerds that really understand these terms.
We have spoken about this as well.
That's right.
Mike Hat in Race and Live saying, "Is this contest most right questions or is it a raffle?" I think it is most right questions. Like this is
we are rewarding your smarts here.
Well, those are the questions. I think we did quite a few in this stream, so good luck if you've been with us. I really hope you've enjoyed Race Centre Live today. It's been an incredible race. I've personally really enjoyed it. Any final thoughts, Caroline and Jack, before I say goodbye to everyone? I mean, what a race.
Yeah, what a race. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. I learned so much, and there was full of drama start to finish. All the weather, rain, sun, everything in between, all the drama. It was a great time. Thank you, Kireth. Thank you, Caroline.
Yeah, of course. If this is your first race watching with us or even in Formula One in general, what a great race to watch. Jack, thank you so much for joining us here today. It was a true delight to have you here with us. Kireth, as always, it's such a pleasure to have you here on the board with us. And in many ways captaining this ship. So guys, this is a race that I think we'll all remember for a very long time. And so will Nico Hulkenberg. We want to continue to hear what you guys have to say and how you guys feel about it. Make sure you follow these two guys on Instagram, Twitch, YouTube, all of the things. And we cannot wait to see who wins this trip to Las Vegas, who takes the survey and gets that gift card, and who is going to be joining us next time around.
Yeah. Wow, incredible. We were all here for Nico Hulkenberg's podium, so we'll never forget that moment. Thanks, everyone in my stream I can see and Race Centre Live. I would just say, take that survey. There'll be a link in Race Centre Live. There are, I think, for the first 20 or 25 gift cards available. And if you enjoyed Race Centre Live, feel free to post about it and tag us in the socials so we can see. But yeah, I've really enjoyed it. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you, everyone, for joining. What an incredible race, all of the weather, and feels like season's just getting started as well, which is super exciting. So we'll see you next time.